Thank you, Tom. There's Morge going down to post. She's diminutive, Morge, and behind her is Glen Laurel. There's money for the Irish challenger here, Matilda Picotte, the daughter of Sioux Nation, for Kieran Cotter and Billy Lee. How do you think her form stacks up? Jane, do you think she's got the requisite stamina for this?
I'm not sure. She's a very, very rapid filly. We're going to see her from stall 6. She will be the quickest out. Billy Lee will be, biggest job for him will be to contain her enthusiasm. Now, she used to wear cheek pieces. She made her debut when she won at the Curragh at the beginning of the year in cheek pieces, but when they stepped her up and tripped, they took that off to help her settle. I'm surprised, and pleasantly surprised in fact, at how well she's retaining her condition. She ran a huge race in the Ballyhane, the valuable Ballyhane Stud Stakes at Naas last time, suggesting she does get this trip, but this is a hotter race. Does she have the class? She's strong on the market.
Yeah, she'll be better suited by the fast 6 here at York, I think, watching her, than she was at Naas last time. Just seemed a little bit too much for her, the stiff finish there, didn't it? But much quicker, slicker 6 furlongs here at York, where you do traditionally want to be on the speed on the sprint track. It should play to her strengths. Whether she's good enough, we'll wait and see, but I could see her improving a little bit on this track.
One thing about her, when she began her career, she was in a shank, she had a red hood on, she was very fizzy. She's not only retaining her condition, but mentally she's obviously getting a little bit more mature.
We ought to mention Queen Me, because she's just got one rather uninspiring maiden victory to her name, but her dam, her granddam and her great-granddam all won this race, which is pretty startling.
Yeah, Queen Kindly, Lady of the Desert and Queen's Logic. It's a brilliant fillies family, and of course she's by Dubawi out of the Frankel mare all this season and last season, courtesy of Adair and Mo. We've been talking about Frankels out of Dubawi mares. This is the reverse in the Jabber Abdullah colours. 2 runners for Kevin Ryan. Tom Eves is on board. Look, we've got limited evidence, but what's there is good.
Yeah, she won easily at Haydock. She travelled very strongly through the race, and to me looked as if she was going to win it easier than she ended up doing, but that's understandable on debut, that she ran about and maybe even blew up a little bit in front later on, but she's open to plenty of improvement. She's a massive price.
I want to talk about any possible issues for Danny Tudhope from stall 1. Now, we think that low is the place to be in terms of where the best part of the track is, but unless you're going to use a very fast filly from stall 1, which he probably won't want to do, and it's not his riding style, is there a danger that the others will just congregate and jump on top of him?
Based on yesterday, yeah, that could happen, and just remember the stall's still on the far side as well this afternoon, so we're expecting these races to develop in the same way on the same part of the track as they were yesterday, and that is a potential problem for Danny on Dramatise. I think he'll be aware of it. I think he'll probably want to slide her out, get her up there, and maybe get her shifted slightly across away from the rail quite early on in the race to avoid that potential. I just see Corindia going down there at 25 to 1 on the bottom of the screen, Nick. I wanted to mention her. Twice raced, improved in France last time out when she was a little bit unlucky not to finish closer, and she was the one that was attracting my attention at the big prices. Corindia for Michael Bell.
It's a hell of a race, even money dramatised now. Connections with her, just trying to keep the lid on, but it is on at the moment, Jane.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. She's taking it in her stride. Lady Hollywood is worth a mention as well, obviously supplemented for 20,000 by Alice Haynes. We mentioned that run at Naas last time, beating Lady Tilbury. That is obviously reopposing. She's a high enough rating. She beat Maui Wowie on that occasion as well. Maui Wowie's come out and won a listed race in Ireland since beating Treasure Trove. I think she's a battle-hardened type, and she won't be far away from the pace as well in stall 4.
George Bowie's Kinser, 13 to 2. If the pace is too rapid and these 5 furlong specialists start peeling away, she could be the one to take advantage.
Yeah, she could. I mean, she was strong at the line at Ascot last time. I just wondered whether the race could potentially get away from her a little bit here at York. It was late on at Ascot that she was strong, like I say, and we keep saying it, but it is a quick 6 here at York, and we're expecting them to go hard early. So the key point for Kinter will be whether she can keep up and keep touch to halfway.
Time will be interesting here compared to some of yesterday's times. I'd expect it to be a little quicker because we haven't had that much rain. Also, there's a bit of a tailwind, a warm tailwind, following them up the track here ahead of this opening race, which is a group race. It's Group 2. It's the Sky Bet Lowther Stakes, a prize fund of £267,500. You put the money on and you get a field like this.
You get a big field and you get quality fillies again. We saw Marge in the ring. She's light, she's small, there's not much of her, but she's brilliantly bred. She's a sister to the Breeders' Cup winner, Modern Games. She's got good form in the book. That run in the Duchess of Cambridge beating Lazoo stands out as well. She won't be without her chance. Ray Dawson getting a big moment. There's Billy Lee going into the stalls. He's vying for a championship in Ireland. He's just a couple off Colin Keane at this stage, but this is a big day and big week for him and Paddy Toomey a little bit later on.
Paddy Toomey, La Petite Coco is his filly. in the Yorkshire Oaks. No tougher in training, but this is her toughest test to date. Even money dramatised for the Lowther. 5-1 Morge, Saeed bin Sarur. Kinter 13-2 for George Bowie and William Buick. Lady Hollywood 10. Alice Haynes has supplemented her. The Irish challenger Matilda Picot 10-1 Will She Stay. 20 Queen Me, bidding to become the 4th member of her family to win this race. Would be extraordinary. All of them bred and raced by Jabra Abdallah. 4th generation. It would be quite a unique feat. You see Glen Laurel out the back. There is Maj. They're nearly all in. This is going to be fast and furious. You're going to be watching dramatised from stall 1. Just a little bit of temperament there from Glen Laurel. We did see a little bit of that as well from Maria Branwell in the preliminaries, but she's locked and loaded quite safely. All right, Glen Laurel will be the last one forward here, if indeed she does go forward in those Sheikh Mohammed Abeid colours. Andrea Atzadi, who's got a big week ahead, and Royal Acclaim in tomorrow's Nunthorpe and Stradivarius, of course, to look forward to. Glen Laurel's mother is a half-sister to Dubawi. No surprise to see her carrying these colours, but at the moment she's thinking she doesn't want to be doing this. With that in mind, let's say good afternoon to our commentator here, Mike Catamon.
Good afternoon to you, Nick. Yeah, she's just getting a bit anxious, this filly, isn't she? Dramatised yet to go in as well, by the way. I don't think Morge is in yet either. 3 to go. 3 left to load for the Lowther. Nick, I'm sure you've covered this, but Queen Me's story is extraordinary, isn't it? Getting to become the 4th generation in a row to win this. Queen Kindly won for Richard Fahey, Lady of the Desert, the grandmum, won it for Brian Meehan, and Queen's Logic for Mick Shannon all those years ago. Just an amazing tale, really. There she is, Queen Me on the right. They've got her in. That's great news there. Glen Laurel is in. 2 left. Morge, who's got the blanket on. And in fact, we're also missing Corindia as well. So there are 3 to go. Dramatised then about to go in. She's got the pacifier taken off. And she's kept calm, which is great news. Here's Corindia. David Egan for Michael Bell. We have a line. They're set to go now. And off and racing for the Sky Bet Lowther Stakes Group 2 here on day 2 of the Sky Bet York Ebor Festival. Dramatised broke well over on the far side there. She's matching pace at this stage then with Lady Hollywood. Just tucking in behind them on the far side there is Sweet Harmony. Right up there, Corindia, Yellow Cap, Matilda Picot. Morge is just tracking Swing Along down the centre of the course. The 2 Garbuck fillies might be disputing the lead, you know. Dramatised on the far side, Swing Along on the near side. Between them, Corindia, Matilda Picot, Morge. And then behind these comes Queen Me, bidding to become the 4th successive generation to win it from her family. Kinter's being scrubbed along. Then comes Lady Tilbury, who's just manoeuvring for a run. Maria Bramwell is outpaced. A bit of work on for Glen Laurel, and Desert Illusion outclassed. They're racing inside the final quarter mile here. Dramatised on the far side. Her stable companion Swing Along on the near side. Queen Me is trying hard behind them to pick them up. So too is Matilda Picot and the Yellow Cap. Dramatised in trouble here. She's got a battle. It's Swing Along who takes over, but Queen Me on the outside. This could be historic if she gets there, but it's Swing Along and Clifford Lee from Queen Me, and Swing Along got there from Queen Me. Matilda Picot in 3rd, Morge next. Dramatised weakened out of it.
Friendly fire in the Lowther. It was Carl Burke's other one, Swing Along, who took the race in the hands of Clifford Lee. Queen Me has run a mighty race and has just failed to become the 4th generation winner from her family for Jabra Abdallah, Kevin Ryan and Tom Eves. And they're a little way in front of Matilda Picot. Morge, Dramatised, was only 5th stable companion of the winner, Swing Along, and Swing Along she did. She fair tanked in the race. Big race win for Clifford Lee, not foreseen by everyone, perhaps not even by those closest to her, because she's gone off Jane Mangan at 25-1.
Why would Carl Burke run 2 in this race when he's got Dramatised? That is exactly why. She was never far from the front end. We were expecting a bit of a burn-up, but all those main protagonists, Matilda Picot, your eventual 3rd, they were all on the front end. It didn't collapse.
No, she's a filly that's obviously getting better and maturing really well through her 2-year-old season, and that's the danger that you've got with the likes of a Dramatised who show it early at 2. You don't know that they will go and continue that progress. Swing Along is completely different. She will not have shown them as much early as Dramatised did, but she's making better progress physically and mentally and on the track. That's obviously coming into better performances. Two really progressive fillies pulling well clear of the field, Swing Along and Queen Me. They were both big prices, but there was a long way back to the third.
Take it from the stalls, and Swing Along was smartly away, but this wasn't necessarily the place we thought that would be the best place to race, but she was always right there on the speed. Far side dramatised, Danny Tartop content to make plenty of use of her, but she's just over revving a little bit, Jane.
Oh, there's a little bit of simmering, and he's trying to keep her capacity. He doesn't want to fight her, and I think he's found himself in front against his own will. Billy Lee has kept a lid on the horse in the centre, but to be fair to Corinda as well, David Egan, a lovely position and a good run from her. Maj is right beside him, she's run a cracker, but you see Swing Along broke really quick. Clifford Lee was happy, didn't take her back, happy to be where she was, and she's cruised through the middle part of this race and found plenty.
Yeah, she's going to stay a bit further than this, isn't she? She's by showcasing, but there's plenty of 7 furlong and mile winners, including the Dam herself, and she's strong through that final furlong and a half. She really finds a lot for pressure. You touched on the point we dramatised before the start, Nick, about that stall 1, and we were thinking Danny would want to get her out and get her up there to avoid being trapped on the rail. He did that, but that in turn meant that she was lit up, and I think the draw and that tactical element to it and how he's had to play it early to try and avoid being trapped has meant that she probably has over-raced a little bit.
Kevin Ryan's got quite a bit to look forward to with Queen Me, I'd say. Given her inexperience, given the way she tenaciously fought on to the line, Jane, she's going to be a good filly for them.
What a second run. We were talking about the limited evidence we had from her first run. That was very straightforward and lesser company, but this, what an encouraging run. She finds plenty for pressure. She didn't look green. Tom Eves gets great tune of her. And to be fair, the front two have pulled a little bit clear of the eventual third, Matilda Picot. They're both very smart fillies, but you'd have to say the winner having her fourth run, the second having her only second ever run, Jabra Dullah and team will be very pleased.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think positively about the first two here. I know that Dramatised has excuses, but you look at the horses in behind that they've pulled clear of. Matilda Picot has brought a good level of form to the table. She's been consistent through her 2-year-old season at this sort of level in Ireland. She's probably run her race. You've got Morge and Dramatised not too far back in the main pack, and two very lightly raced fillies pulling well clear.
Yeah, and a filly with a bit of physical presence, the winner as well, Jane.
I'll be honest, Nick, I didn't take an awful lot of notice of her in the prelims. I'll be noticing her when she comes back into the winner's enclosure, but I would say the connections are dramatised. We'll be thinking, do we go back to 5 after that simmering first half?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Something like the Flying Childers maybe for her.
Yeah, you'd imagine that would be a good move, wouldn't it, in a few weeks' time? And it's clear that today she over-raced, she didn't get home. And she's got back to speed, a lot of ability, as we've seen earlier on in the season, and 5 furlongs maybe at this stage is going to see her at her best.
But whichever way you slice it this time, Carl Burke comes out on top, and Clifford Lee, who has been an important part of the operation now for several years, enjoys a real career highlight here.
Yeah, he's had a huge year, Clifford. He's been, as you say, become a big part of the team. He was there as an apprentice, he bided his time, he's gradually got more and more opportunities, and he's getting a lot of good outside rides nowadays, as well as picking up loads of opportunities for Carl.
Definitely in racing's top 5 Cliffords now.
There she is. She was a little bit stunned by the applause she was getting coming in. If she has that talent, she may get used to that. She was 120,000 as a yearling. She's out of a Shamadal mare, and she's got size to her. She's not just a 2-year-old. You'd imagine this filly has a very bright future as well. What you would expect after winning the Lowther.
The Lowther winner of 2022, the Sky Bet Lowther winner, is Swing Along in the colours of Sheikh Juma Dalmouk Al Maktoum for Carl Burke and Clifford Lee. Big price as well, and a big price exactor.
Yes, indeed, 25-1 the winner. She's done it very well. She's progressing quickly, isn't she, this showcasing filly? And if Dramatised can't do it for Carl Burke, well, Swing Along can. And Queen Me second at 20s. Third home was Matilda Picot, who was an 11-1 shot for Kieran Cotter and Billy Lee. And Dramatised went off the even money favourite. She weakened into 5th. 110.8 was the time. What did you make of it, Dave?
I don't know. I think Dramatised is certainly a 5 furlong filly. I think there was a bit of a wheel spin coming out of the stall. She might have lost the race in the first 150 yards for me, somewhat, but definitely didn't stay, I think. And they might be ruining the day they didn't go bold and go for the 5 furlong in the Nunthorpe. It might have suited her better. But there was a feature on Carl Burke that I watched on Racing TV here in the studio last night, and he didn't leave this filly out. He was, I mean,
no,
he was all over
dramatised,
but he was a totally different type. But it takes all sorts to win a race. But he certainly didn't leave her out. So maybe that 25 to 1 was a little bit generous. Certainly was now.
Yeah, absolutely. Swing Along wins the ladder. More reaction with Lydia now.
Clifford has just weighed in after that victory on Swing Along. I've momentarily forgot the name of the winning horse. I don't know why, because she was quite brilliant. Well done, Clifford. Talk me through the race.
Thanks. Yeah, she was very simple. She jumped the gates very quick. She made the run at Ripon. She was green the first couple of runs. She's improved a lot since that run at Ripon, and she stayed on very well. She kept going.
And where you were racing and where you were drawn, were you looking at yesterday, I don't know whether that's ideal?
Well, after yesterday, they sort of favoured the far side a little bit better. Obviously, the first race here today, the ground would have dried up a little bit, but not too much. I just kept it simple. I've edged across there and tried to get the best ground, really, as well.
And what's it like psychologically when you're going into the race and you're kind of seen as the second string behind horses brilliant as dramatised?
Yeah, it's surprising, but I'm delighted for the owners and my boss, Carl, to get the winner. I'm delighted that the fillies got the winner under our belt as well.
And it's an important success for you. Your second Group 2 of your career, isn't it, after Al Caballo?
Yeah, Al Caballo early on at Haydock this year, and 2 Group 2s in 1 year, which is brilliant. Hopefully we keep it going.
Things are really coming together for you, aren't they, after all of that hard work?
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, I've been getting plenty of opportunities and just need a little bit of luck to play in our side.
And do you see this filly getting a little bit further than 6?
Yeah, I think at the minute she's quick. It's probably leave her at 6, but it wouldn't surprise me if she does get 7, maybe next year. But all she does is gallop to the line. She quickened up very well, though.
That's your job done today, isn't it?
That's it, yeah, 1 ride, 1 winner.
And you'll be back for Marshman tomorrow in the gym crack?
Yeah, fingers crossed. He should run a brilliant race. He ran really well at first, defying the penalty and winning by many lengths. Hopefully we'll do it again.
Well, best of luck and many congratulations here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, I think he's got a fantastic chance on Marshman. It was hugely impressive at first last time up in the gym crack. And here we go for Stratford. This is the third novices hurdle, 1 to 3, Man of the Mountain, returning to hurdling, having been chasing for Emma Lavelle. Tom Bellamy rides. Looks like he's lining up in second place. Tadri's going to make the running by the looks of things. Here's David.
And thank you, Angus. So coming in, 3 of them. Tadri at the head of the trio, just on the turn at the beginning of the home straight, and they're off in the Walls and Ceilings International Limited Novices Hurdle. Class 3, and Tadri leads Man of the Mountain and Tiger Orchid towards the first of 11 flights. Brian Hughes and Tadri coming into number 1, gets over it in front. Man of the Mountain, this is only the 3rd time he's ever run in a hurdle race, and a hot favourite to win here. He's already won the best turned out prize, prepared by Laura Scrivener. And Man of the Mountain sits in second, but giving 6 lengths to Tadri and a couple of lengths in front of Tiger Orchid as they run towards flight number 2. And Tadri leading Man of the Mountain and Tiger Orchid. Big jump, slightly to the right by Tadri, but enthusiastic and about to turn left at the end of the home straight with an advantage of 5 or 6 lengths, maybe 7, to Man of the Mountain in second place and Tiger Orchid following him. So running away from us, just 1 flight of hurdles on this part of the course. And Tadri is going to get to flight number 3 in front and over it safely to Man of the Mountain, and Tom Bellamy in second position, and in third place is Tiger Orchid. So Tadri, who second here twice earlier in the summer, fairly routine win at Southall on the 20th of June, last seen in action in the summer plate at Market Raisin. Didn't complete there. Man of the Mountain also ran in the summer plate last time, finished 6th, and sitting 3 or 4 lengths behind Tadri, running on towards flight number 4. And Tom Bellamy asked Man of the Mountain a question just going into that, but the horse did his own thing, and it still sits in second, just moved to the outside of Tadri, with Tiger Orchid getting a good view of flight number 5. A little bit deliberate at it and slower than the other 2 in third. So they have jumped 5 of the 11, and Tadri has made every yard to this point. to Man of the Mountain in second place, 5 times a chase winner, and his finest hour so far at Cheltenham, April 2021. He won the Grade 2 Silver Trophy, valuable prize in the spring, and that was his biggest win to date. He's in second position, racing in single file with Tiger Orchid in third. So turning into the home straight, they've now completed circuit number 1 in the Walls and Ceilings International Limited Novices Hurdle, and it's As You Were with Tawdry in front of Man of the Mountain and Tiger Orchid. Things will be getting a little bit more urgent in a circuit's time. Tawdry, good jump, Man of the Mountain in second place. Tiger Orchid was in third position, so they're coming up to the line, and they have one more circuit in front of them. The 4-time winner Tawdry leading the 5-time winner Man of the Mountain and the 3-time winner Tiger Orchid. A circuit to go and heading to number 7 of the 11. Tawdry still leads for Laura Morgan. Over in front, Man of the Mountain is in second. Tiger Orchid is in third place, and Tawdry leads them on the run away from the stands. Heading onto the side, Man of the Mountain. Trainer Emma Lavelle won a novice hurdle with another multiple winning chaser. It's Worcester last night with Light and Strike. Trying to repeat the trick here with Man of the Mountain as they run to number 8. Tawdry, Man of the Mountain in second. Tiger Orchid over in third place. So they've now got 3 flights left to take. Tawdry has made it all to this point and still leads by 3 to Man of the Mountain in second. At what point will Tom Bellamy ask the favourite to get a bit closer to the long-time leader? Tiger Orchid is just nudged along in third place, asked to get racing on the outside. Tiger Orchid, and Man of the Mountain also moving a bit closer to Tawdry. Here's the third last. Tawdry met it spot on, and it's just a little bit quicker than the other two. Tawdry running towards the second last. Tiger Orchid out wide of Man of the Mountain, who's getting a squeeze now. 2 out, Tawdry over, and again jumping well and just slightly better than the other two. Man of the Mountain is now being pushed along in second. Tiger Orchid likewise in third place. So Tawdry by 2.5, running down towards the end of the back straight. Both under pressure in behind, but both closing on the leader. And now Brian Hughes has to push Tawdry, and Tiger Orchid and Man of the Mountain are making challenges. Tiger Orchid in particular, the outsider of 3. Man of the Mountain struggling a bit in third. It's Tawdry, the inside of Tiger Orchid, and Man of the Mountain at the moment needs to find quite a bit extra to land his cramped odds, as Tawdry has made every yard and still leads. Tiger Orchid in second position. Hughes goes for the stick on Tawdry. Tiger Orchid in second. Man of the Mountain's being eased as they run to the last. Tawdry has brushed Tiger Orchid aside and is clear by about 6 lengths. The second favourite, Tawdry, in front, ridden out by the champion jockey. Tiger Orchid gave it a go on the home turn, but has got no answer to Tawdry, who's going to win his 5th race. Tawdry makes all for Laura Morgan and Brian Hughes. Second home is Tiger Orchid, and Man of the Mountain will be eased right down and finish third.
Yeah, third and last. Disappointing odds on favourite, but Tawdry's made all and wins Laura Morgan and Brian Hughes, and won pretty comfortably. Fell over fences last time up, back to hurdling today, did the trick, and he got his own way out in front. 100 to 30 the SB for Tawdry, who wins the third at Stratford.
Okay, more juveniles on show here. We just, this is actually Nibras Rainbow, who's a big old prize. So I'm actually just waiting in this area because I'm hoping that Kevin Ryan's other horse is going to come in. I'll just stay on Nibras Rainbow. Cheap pieces on for the first time off the back of that Leicester win, but a bundle to find. If we go next door, having a good old Winnie, I am hoping is Revision. Yes, I can see the 13 rug. So this is 1 of 2 in the race for Kevin Ryan. The other, Washington Heights, has already been saddled. Revision will come out of stall number 9, so options from there. Has had 2 runs so far, and the last of them was a good winner at Newcastle. Handled soft ground on first start, but has clearly gone on from that. And The other horse I thought was a little bit more relaxed, perhaps Washington Heights, but Revision isn't too far behind as far as the market has it. Kevin Ryan's on the phone, but Amy Ryan isn't, so I can talk to you, Amy. If we just spin round to our left, I'll rather difficultly stand right behind this tree for our cameraman. I'm sorry. Why don't we start actually with Queen Me? What a run that was.
Oh, fantastic. Really proud of her. They both actually ran really well, but yeah, she's run an absolute cracker. Just one start coming into that, so to do that on the second start, we're delighted.
And I think going back, the Dam and the Grand Dam had won the race, so it would have been an incredible story. Did you expect her to run that well?
Yeah, it would have been a bit of a fairy tale, wouldn't it? Because obviously so many of her relatives have won the race, but no, I did. I said this morning I thought she was massively overpriced for what she'd done first time out. I thought physically and mentally she'd come on as well, so nice to see her do that, and hopefully she can go on to bigger and better things.
What about these two then, who've both been saddled now, Washington Heights and Revision?
Yeah, both very likeable, very, very laid-back horses with great attitudes. Washington Heights, he won and then was a really good second under the penalty at Ponty, and Revision went one better than his debut when winning at Newcastle. So they're both progressive, they've both got great attitudes. Obviously, the draw didn't look as much of a bias in that race, so hopefully it shouldn't.
I suppose it didn't, did it? Although they still hugged the rail, but yeah.
Yeah, they did seem to. Our filly was drawn a bit wider and she sort of stayed straight, so hopefully it won't be too much of an issue, but they're both very nice horses, so won't put your feeder.
Perfect. Let you head to the paddock. Cheers.
Thanks.
We've got another big field of 2-year-olds for Fran and I to sort through for the Goffs UK Harry Beebe Premier Yearling Sales Stakes. We'll start, Fran, with number 7, I reckon, with the big sheepskin noseband there. That is King's Crown for Adrian Nichols.
Yeah, 3-star score was very prominent and won well in Thirsk. Has come up short a couple of times since then and was overfaced with Group 2 company in Newmarket since. Back on this track, 6 furlongs, flat track should suit. Has somewhat of a chance if producing something like his best.
Okay, I'm going to go one down to number 8 next. So if we go back 4 horses, we can find Matching Socks, who represents Andrew Balding.
Yeah, tardy start and debuted in a track at Kenton. He was well back in the run, maybe a fortunate winner today. The eventual second veered across the track, but he did have to make up ground to get there. Nice performance. Interesting the hood is left on today, and we haven't seen him since then. Hit the line good. The extra furlong interior should suit him well.
And he has got matching socks at the back. He really has. Right, let's talk about horse number 4, shall we? Who's just behind there. Richard Fahey trains Dare to Hope.
Yeah, he's a long-range type, isn't he? And he's by Camacho, of course, and a good run at York over the course of distance in the nursery last time. He actually got to the winner. The winner found a bit more, but you like the way he kept at it, and look, he's got an each-way chance. He's nearly favoured, but such a wide-open race. But his level of form and course form a big plus.
Okay, we'll move on to horse number 14, who's just there behind the grey horse, and that should have been Waring. I think I've said that wrong. Should have been Airing. Should have been Airing.
There you go. Yes, yeah.
Should have been a ring.
Should have been a ring, or director extraordinaire has told us off air there. And there he is, number 14, by Vanna Gray. He travelled very well. One off the rail, stands rail in Leicester. He kept on well under mainly hand ride. Open to further improvement. You might know more about the overall level of form, but I just thought he has a bit more to do here today.
Needs a break off and hear from Tom.
Richard Hannon has kindly agreed to have a chat about this horse. Should have been a ring. Yeah. Must have a good chance. You've got a good record in the race.
Yeah, we do. Don't think that matters, but it's a bit of a race to get him here. After he won Ripon, I think. You know, he had sore shins for a while. So it was a bit of a struggle to get him here. He's here. We've done as much as we can with him. He's done a bit of work with Persian Force the last 10 days or so, and he's surprised me big time. So very happy with, his ability coming in here.
When you say he's done a bit of work with Persian Force, how would he have matched up with Persian Force?
Well, they just came through on the bridle nicely, but I thought, he'll get tired in a minute, or he might drop out, but he keeps surprising us. As I say, I wouldn't question his ability. It's just whether he's got match fitness. Well, I know he hasn't, and he might have done enough anyway, but he will improve for this. But I think he's pretty useful.
Interesting stuff. Richard, thank you very much. We'll head back to the other horses.
Now, can Carlberg have a quick fire double? This is Secret Angel, horse number 19.
Yeah, kept on well to win at Carlisle last time, dropping down staying the same trip, stuck on well against the hill, is improving with racing.
Go 2 horses back to number 9, I think, and this is Meta Horse for Michael Bell.
Yeah, he showed lots of pace at Thirsk recently, travelled well through the race, and showed a good attitude to just win by a length and a half. Small field that day, open to a bit more improvement.
Okay, if we pan back again to the left-hand side, we can pick up the horse that's immediately behind, actually, horse number 17, that is Glorious Angel for Hugo Palmer.
Yeah, second to Gifted Angel, who made no show last night here in the nursery, but Glorious Angel started slowly and finished off very well.
Okay, round to the left-hand side as well and pick up horse number 12. That is Reginald Charles, representing Brian Smart. This horse still a maiden?
Yeah, Sister is an interesting horse in the Northern Hemisphere at this point in time, and again, his last run on fast ground was decent at red car, a bit more on here today, and still a maiden.
Okay. Let's pick up number 10. So if we pass around to the left-hand side, we can pick up Nibras Rainbow for Ishmael Mohammed.
Yeah, look, 200 to 1 outsider, did show good attitude to win a Leicester recently. The cheek pieces down in triple have to work to sharpen them up.
Okay, we'll drop back to horse number 5 there, who's running as a gelding for the first time. This one trained by Tim Easterby.
Yeah, look, he's had one run today. He's got a tongue tie on today. He's been gelded, as you said, Lydia. Needs to show a lot more than he did at Ripon.
But the horse behind him is his stable companion number 15. This is Vince Le Prince.
Yeah, David Allen takes the ride. He's rated 80 on the back of that win at red car. Not beaten far at Haydock for all. He was 6th of 8 finishers.
Okay, if we pan back to the left-hand side, we can pick up horse number 6, and that is Car Sib for Clive Cox. This horse is very experienced.
Yeah, he was on the stands rail at Goodwood, and he raced the choke out somewhat on that occasion. Just didn't quite see it out to my liking. Maybe a flatter. This track, maybe he'll relax a bit better with a strong pace.
Okay, if we pan around to the left-hand side, we can pick up the first one coming towards us we've seen before, actually. That's Glorious Angel. We're followed by number 7 as well, who's King's Crown, we've also seen. Number 2 we haven't seen. JM Jungle for John Quinn, number 2.
Yeah, Vice is on first time. He's a solid horse in his own grade. He's got to step forward a bit from what we've seen in recent starts. He was third, beating a length and a half in a handicap last time. The handicapper left him on the same mark.
Okay, we'll go to the next one, horse number 3, the one immediately behind. That is Redemption Time for Clive Cox.
Very, very keen behind the Riddler in the Norfolk Stakes. Didn't give himself a chance to finish. He'll need to relax better over this extra furlong today to figure.
2 horses back to number 13, and this is Revision for Kevin Ryan. This one, the Mount of Tom Eaves.
Yeah, very prominent when he won last time at Newcastle. The second is rated 78. He's improved off the back of that debut run. A bit more improvement again.
Okay, if we come back to the left-hand side, we can pick up number 11, and that is Northcliffe for Tim Easterby, again, an experienced horse.
Very good run at this track, and maybe behind Bradsell, of course, who went on to win at Royal Ascot, and he hasn't really gone forward since then, but back to this track where he ran his best race, maybe a different proposition here.
And if we come back to the left-hand side, we can pick up number 18, and this is a relatively inexperienced filly, Havana by the Sea.
Very interesting horse in his own right, Havana by the Sea. A lot to like about the debut. Missed the start, got into contention, then appeared to get tired inside the last furlong. Really needs to step up today, but should be up to winning a race or two.
Okay, we've seen almost all of them from the paddock for our second race here at York.
Yeah, you've had a very comprehensive look at this group of horses ahead of the sales race. All shapes and sizes here, heavily varying levels of ability. What knocked your eye out, Jane?
That should have been a ring. I think the best looking in the ring was Washington Heights for me. Every time you walk around, not knowing what he was, caught my eye every time.
That's what we wanted. What about you?
I like him as well, but I like Dare to Hurt number 4, the Farhy horse. Should have been a ring small. He's stocky, but small.
All right, let's take a look at how they bet for this Goss Harry Beebe sales race. Should have been a ring, 9 to 4, 11 to 2, Redemption Time is 6, 9 Washington Heights, Meta Horse 11, Remarkable Force 12 with matching socks, 16 Secret Angel. Let's head out and join Tom.
Hugo Palmer is alongside me. Thank you very much indeed. Glorious Angel. She's been on the go a bit. This is her 7th start, I think.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, you probably.
Yeah, she's been busy, yeah. But she's very much a 2-year-old. She's that size and shape. What she's done is get stronger and stronger throughout the year, and she didn't cost a whole lot, like a lot of horses in this race. And it's a huge amount of prize money down to 10th. She won 2 races. She'll win more for finishing 10th here than she would for winning a 0 to 75 nursery.
I take it you're not aiming for 10th, though. Do you feel she can win it? Does she have a lot to find?
Look, I think she's got a bit to find. I'm sure she rated 79. She's probably got the guts of 10 or 11 pounds to find with the best of them. But she is more experienced, and I think we rode her slightly differently at Nottingham the other day. She'd been making the running, and we just rode her a bit more patiently, and it seemed to work. So, look, we hope she runs as well as she possibly can.
There you go, watch. Cheers, you go.
Thanks.
Hugo Palmer's still got Ebro River in tomorrow's Coolmore. Nunthorpe, last season's Group 1 winning 2-year-old with Jamie Spencer booked, but I think he wants a bit more rain. Should have been a ring as the favourite here. Dare to Hope is a horse that you like physically. Do you like the form chance of Dare to Hope?
I do, actually, yeah, I do like his form. He's proven at the track. He's got strong form. He's proven at the track. He's proven at the trip. Thought it was a really good run last time out in the nursery behind the catch the paddy. He was quick and well handicapped. And he's got a good bit of experience, which for a field of this size and competitiveness, I think that can help him. It could be something that he could be negative about in terms of the favourite, his lack of experience and his lack of a recent run as well, Nick. He was quite impressive at Ripon. I'm not sure he really deserves to be 9-4 at the top of the market, to be honest with you, on what he's done. I think it's a pretty wide open race in my mind in terms of what they've achieved previously.
Do you think that's purely down to Richard Hannon's record in the race? He's won 4 of the last 6 runnings. This can often throw up a good one. This race, 19 runners, a lot of them unexposed. We don't really know what to make of them. We saw that in our Lowther earlier on, where we couldn't really get a handle on the form pre-race. But this is the 25th running of this race. It's thrown up 11 stakes winners, 3 of them at Group 1 level, and it's thrown up 3 horses that you particularly know well. One is Wooden Bassett, one is Dark Angel, and one is Taz Leaf. So you never know what you're going to see here.
No, you don't. I think coming into it, to me, it looks to have a slightly lower level of quality to it this year. Now, the horse, obviously, that's favourite is the least exposed, one of the least exposed, at least in the field, and with that, obviously, comes some potential. But I would be a bit surprised if he was that sort of stakes level horse, to be honest.
You know what he looks? Now he's grey, and cosmetically he looks nothing like her, but he's around the same size as Tiggy Wiggy was as a 2-year-old. He's absolutely minuscule, isn't he?
There he is in shot. He's what you would call a bunny horse. He's marching with great purpose around the parade ring.
Great action.
Great
and he
action.
Walks with pride, and he's got a good attitude. You can see the way he's taking it all in. I thought walking around the ring as well, I like the look of Revision, the Ardad Colt and the High Clear colours for Kevin Ryan. Just a 2 start, 60 grand yearling. And what he did at Newcastle, he showed a really good attitude that day. And I know a little bit inexperienced, but if he benefits from that and is genuine, should run well at 14-1.
Yeah, middle draw could help him, Revision. He was just on his toes a little bit there in the paddock and getting slightly warm, but has a bit of size and scope. And 2 good runs, both of his starts so far, positive efforts at an early stage.
I thought Redemption Time ought to run well here. Called by Harry Angel, trained by that horse's trainer Clyde Cox. And he's running the Norfolk Stakes, and I know it's a race that's had a few holes blown in it, but his run in the Norfolk nonetheless was a pretty good one until he almost got knocked over, and the rider said, right, that'll do, you can't really do any more now.
And he's got the Noble Style Ascot form as well, from earlier on in the season. Second start before he was off the mark at Bath. He went to Ascot. He was beaten by Noble Style. Wallbank was second. Back in 4th, I think, was Royal Scotsman. It's a very strong race, and he was in amongst them. So that's an eye-catching piece of form for him. I think you're right that the Norfolk, we can rule that, scratch it off and forget about it. 2-month break since then for Redemption Time, and I assume this race has been a target for a while, given the prize money that they've got on offer.
Now, worth a mention as well as matching socks. Took the preliminaries very well for a horse only had 1 start. That 1 start was an all-weather win at Kempton. Keep bidding half a length that day. Andrew Balding had a very smart 2-year-old win yesterday. Could he do the same here in a 2-year-old sales race?
Let's head out and join Tom.
Yeah, joined by Fran out on the track, and we're both just talking about Dare to Hope here, who would sort of be our loose selection in the race. Why for you, Fran?
I just thought his course run last time behind Catchy Paddy was very good. He got to the winner, and the winner then pulled away and found a bit more. But in the context of this race, in theory, he could have a good draw installed too. Now, middle draws did win the last race, but they all congregated over towards that far rail, more or less dramatised draw on there. Thought he's the one. Interesting that Paddy Toomey in the way out. He's very, very happy the ground for Petit Colco in the big race, and reported she's travelled over very, very well.
And his other 2 are here already as well.
Yeah, that's right. Arlen Tyrone, of course, favourite for the Eber currently.
Just on where they're going to race, from a jockey's perspective, is that now in the weighing room cemented in their heads? You want to be far rail, so no one will explore the near side rail, do you think?
Yeah, look, yesterday was all the far rail, and I suppose if you're drawing middle to stand side in this race, particularly stand side, if you've got a bit of pace on that side to bring you into the race, in theory you're going to have to take a chance and go up the middle to the stand side if you're drawing in double figures, well into double figures.
Okay, good stuff. Not long to go. Back to you, Nick.
Tom, thanks a lot. Little ease in the market here. Should have been a ring now. 5-2 from 9-4. 11-2 Dare to Hope in shop there. Looks well. Redemption Time 6. Washington Heights 8 and Meta Horse 9. Your Washington Heights paddock fancy, Jane, is that reflected in your view of the ability level he's already shown?
Would need to improve. Washington Heights is an official rating of 86, but it's hard to get a handle on these horses with so little evidence to go on. Made all at Carlisle back in June, was second time Braveheart Boy Pontefract. That type of form probably wouldn't stand up to this kind of a race, but maybe Washington Heights is coming forward, and coming from this outfit you would expect nothing less than an improvement from his 2-year-olds. Kevin Ryan, I would say Omni Horse and Ammo Racing are looking forward to seeing Remarkable Force and Meta Horse take their chance here. Remarkable Force carrying the penalty, the winner's penalty, hence top weight. But interestingly enough, Ross Ryan, the retained rider, stays loyal to that horse. Cheek Pieces on for the first time after a probably disappointing effort at Goodwood. The other horse, Meta Horse from Michael Bell, Rowan Scott on board, winner of its last 2 starts at Thirsk and Carlisle. But again, those 2 wins in the context of this race, there'd be a little bit more required.
Yeah, there would. Meta Horse dropping back from 7 to 6 as well. Ammo Racing would be pleased to see the result of the first race. Stall 14 beating stall 12. Their 2 horses, Meta Horse, Remarkable Force, in 19 and 15 here, so they're going to be near side. Back quickly to Washington Heights. He showed a load of pace at Ponty. I think the track was just a little bit too stiff for him, and he got outrun in the closing stages there, but it was a good effort in defeat from him on a track that maybe he just found a little bit too much at this stage of his career. He certainly has a chance, and I think he'll be out quick from 14 and lead, or be close to leading the higher numbers.
All right, they're about halfway through the loading process here for this Goss UK Harry Beebe Premier Yearling Stakes, and lovely to see one of the towering figures of the bloodstock auction world remembered here. Made such a huge contribution, Harry Beebe, to the sports, and son Henry, the chief executive of Goss Group, is here today. 5-2 should have been a ring. Redemption Time 6-1 with Dare to Hope 8-1 Washington Heights. Meta Horse is 9 from 11. 11-1 Secret Angel has come for significant support here. 18 into 11-1 for Carl Burke and Sam James, for Carl to strike again with this daughter of Dark Angel. 12 Remarkable Force and Matching Socks. King's Crown is 16 with the lightly raced and good looking Revision. Glorious Angel is 20. Carsib 28, his 50s bar those. In this 19 runner, £250,000 Goss UK Harry Beebe Premier Yearling sale. Let's join Mike Cattermole.
Nick, thank you very much. Yeah, great to remember Harry. He was one of the finest gentlemen you'll ever meet. And I know that Henry and the family are all missing him dreadfully. Our best wishes to all of the Beebe family. Now we're just looking here at Redemption Time, a horse with a load of talent. I don't think has yet really shown what he's made of. Redemption Time is in. Adam Kirby, stall 8. Next to the favourite, should have been a ring. Not many more to go now. 18 and 19 are empty. Reginald Charles and Remarkable Force, the top horse on your race card, number 1, with the white cap. Reginald Charles due to go in, and Matching Socks. So just 1 to go now. Matching Socks is in okay. Matching Socks a bit restless in the gates as Reginald Charles joins them. And that is it. They're ready now. And they're off. For the £250,000 Goss UK Harry Beebe Premier Yearling Stakes, and a nice even break as well on the near side, showing up pretty nicely is Washington Heights, who goes across towards the middle alongside Northcliffe in the blue jacket. Right up there as well is Vince the Prince in the yellow and red colours. On the near side, King's Crown and the noseband, alongside the Remarkable Force's white cap. In the middle of the field, Revision pumped along there behind Carsib. Over on the far side is Dare to Hope, the purple jacket, alongside Matching Socks. Secret Angels not far behind the leaders in the white colours. Then behind these, Meta Horse, the grey, is under a bit of pressure. Redemption Time's red cap weighted with next to Jam Jungle. Revision on the inside, the orange colours of Glorious Angel. Hardy Angel is outpaced, so too Reginald Charles and Nebras Rainbow. They're coming inside the final quarter mile. Northcliffe over on the far side, being taken on by Washington Heights. And then with a white cap, Remarkable Force. On the wide outside, King's Crown, should have been a ring, is coming home pretty strongly as well, but needs to pick up 2 or 3 lengths quickly. Northcliffe in front, Washington Heights wearing down the leader. Washington Heights should have been a ring, though. He's absolutely bearing down on the top here, and it's tight. Should have been a ring. Washington Heights, Northcliffe A massive run by Havana by the sea behind them, and then Dare to Hope. It goes to the judge.
Should have been a ring, but a racehorse will do fine. And this tenacious little grey has got his head down on the line, and the judge calls it. Should have been a ring. Is the winner. Has beaten Washington Heights into second. Northcliffe is third, and it's pretty close for fourth. But Dare to Hope has got home in fourth place. Should have been a ring. Needed all of it to get up. But get up he did. Thrilling race.
Yes, we talk tactics, we talk pace. This horse came from way off the pace. In contrast, he ran down Washington Heights, who was on the pace all of the way. A real brave horse, minuscule in stature, but obviously a huge heart. Sean Levy breathed a sigh of relief. You got there.
At no point of that race did it look likely, really, did it? He missed the break, he got on the back foot, he was outpaced at halfway, he had a lot of horses to pass and a lot of traffic to work his way through, but he managed to do it all on the back of 3 months off the track on just his third career start. So really tenacious performance from him. They got racing a long way out, and I think that helped him a little bit, because the other two that are involved in the finish are out on their feet later on.
And he's completely engulfed by the horses around him. It appeared to be happening so slowly through the final furlong, but he's got talent, he's got heart, he's got a good action, he's got some athleticism. Never say die ride from Sean Levy as well. They went very, very hard in this race.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, but he was the only horse to emerge out of the pack. It wasn't as if it was a blanket finish from behind. He's the only horse to emerge. But Richard Hannon, take a bow. Your fifth win in this race in the last 7 renewals.
Amazing record, isn't it? With so many runners in this race, understandably, for the prize money every year. And, you know, to have that record in the race for the same trainer, it was his only runner, wasn't it, this year? Well supported and well done. You can see earlier, he gets on the back foot early, doesn't he, here, and shuffle back and loses position, and doesn't look great from there.
He's almost lost in the pack.
To hold your position in the middle of a pack in such a competitive race when you're that small, it does come against you, your stature. But to be fair, on the front end, it looked like Vince Le Prince, Washington Heights at third, Northcliffe, who was on the pace, he eventually finishes third. He's run a huge race. The top weight under Ross Ryan has run well. King's Crown for Adrian Nichols and Barry McHugh just behind the pace. But where's Sean Levy at this stage? Under a lot of pressure. I don't think at any stage of this race should have been a ring been any closer.
No, he got huge prices in running, and you can see now Northcliffe, Washington Heights, they've both run screamers. They were always up there, always scrapping it out. Both of them showed good attitudes in defeat, I think. There was a good run from Remarkable Force for a long way, but maybe just a little bit too lit up on the cheek by the cheek pieces. Doesn't quite see things out. Really good effort from Havana by the sea.
That's a remarkable performance. She's only having her second start. She was 150 to 1. Paul Hannigan for Craig Lidster, and she very nearly got up for fourth. And guess what? She's by Havana Gray, the same star as the winner. He really has made a remarkable start to his stud career.
Yes, the Flying Five winner. He's passing on the grey genes, but he's also passing on that speed. He's at 29 winners so far this year, including 2 stakes horses. He's got that speed into these horses, and I'd say everybody attached to him must be absolutely thrilled.
And Havana by the Sea's tiny as well. They're both very small, progeny here, but they both run absolute screamers.
Yeah, I mean, the winner's very he's stocky, isn't he? He's stocky, but he is very small in stature. But look, it's not stopped him winning. He's got a real determination, a good attitude. Whether he'll go on next year, we'll see, won't we? But for the time being, he is progressing well. I say a strongly run 6 is about what he wants at this moment in time.
Should have been a ring has won the Goss UK Harry Beebe Premier Yearling Stakes. It's another big payday for a Midland Park syndicate. This one the 18th edition, if I'm reading my Roman numerals correctly. Richard Hannon and Sean Levy teaming up for another big payday.
Well, I think this horse has done remarkably well to win. It really has. It's come home strongly. Very game, Dave, and clearly very tough as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of people had got the message, and I thought it was interesting that Richard Hannon, he wasn't being negative. He was trying not to get too excited, but he clearly thought this horse wouldn't need the race. When my fear was the absence, what had kept it off the course, but when it was back like that and the trainer was saying that he'd been working well, and the fact it was so well supported in the market. But then I thought its rustiness showed when it came out of the stalls, and I didn't think, after 2 furlongs, I didn't think it could possibly, I could see it being a bit of a heartbreaker, but I didn't think it could possibly win. But a devastating turn of foot. I mean, they must have been coming back a little because they went so hard, but I still think that was a seriously good 2-year-old performance. Often the quality of the form in those sales races is not up to the standard that you might expect sometimes, but I think this is a good horse. I don't think there'll be telephone numbers, Mum's Tipple style, coming in for it, but I'd be tempted to take it nonetheless. But I think it was a really good performance, and the horse showed battling qualities and determination. The attitude, the way it was lengthening going past the line, I thought was extremely positive. But there'll be a few favourite backers, would have been, they'd be uncomfortable for at least 4/5 of that, 5/6 of that race.
Definitely, yeah. Jumped in the air a bit coming out of the stalls, a little bit slowly into stride, and then gave himself plenty to do. Son of Havana Grey, both the first two home by Havana Grey. Sire going really well. And the market told the tale with this horse. Off a layoff, well backed, 5-2 favourite. Washington Heights
5 out of the last 7 for the stable, I think now.
Is it?
I just read it was 4 out of 6.
Wow.
And I was like, it must be 5 out of 7 if that's the case.
Yeah, apologies. The second is Washington Heights. That's by Washington DC.
Oh, I thought it said Havana by the Sea. That was me who threw you the wrong way.
That's all right. Northcliffe was third, and that's by Dandy Man in third place. 66-1. 1:11.65, 1.45 outside standard. They're quite quick times. 1:10.8 for swing along over the same trip. Best time then of those two.
Hard. We're suspending you for 2 days.
Hard.
Hard. Well, soft, but you know.
Hard. Hard! Racing is hard. Betting on it shouldn't be. The UK's #1 betting app. Built for ease. Sky Bet. That's betting better.
Stratford's coming up now. It's a handicap chase over 2 miles 3 furlongs. La Dominale is 15-8, drifting a bit. Larch Hill 100-30, 9-2 Destrier, De Barley Basket 6-1, 15-2 Rostello and Admiral Sunset 14s, and it's Arvico Bleu at 33-1. Shouldn't be too long until they send them on their way for this Stratford race. It's our 4th already at Stratford this afternoon, and they're just walking in. We're nearly ticking around to post time. A few more seconds and we will be there. And it looks like the De Barley Basket's going to make the running. Here's David.
So ticking down to post time, and the flag is up. And the 7 runners approach the starter. And they're off in the feature Brian and Sheila Vaughan Memorial Handicap Chase, Class 2 and 14 fences. De Barley Basket, Larch Hill and Le Manial, the first 3 to show as they get to #1. Rostello got a little bump from Arvico Bleu, but both okay. Admiral Sunset is held up towards the back of the field as De Barley Basket and Larch Hill. Destrier not too far away. Le Manial and Arvico Bleu, Rostello and Admiral Sunset. They've got over the first 2 fences, and Keelan Woods under De Barley Basket are on the De Barley Basket, leading the way to Larch Hill, and Brian Hughes in second position. A line of 3 across the course then, disputing third. Destrier on the inside of Arvico Bleu, the pink and white Callum Bewley, and John O'Neill Jr. on the favourite, the mare, Le Manial, on the outside. Here is the third. Pace looks reasonable. Rostello and Colleen Leonard in 6th position, and Admiral Sunset races in last at the moment. She won race 2 on this card 12 months ago. Moving on towards a ditch, the middle one in the back straight. Admiral Sunset overtook Rostello at that one and relegated him to be last as De Barley Basket leads them, separated by 8 to 10 lengths down towards fence #5. De Barley Basket, Le Manial, the favourite on the outside of Larch Hill. And then Destrier and Harry Skelton ahead of Arvico Bleu, Admiral Sunset and Rostello not travelling and ridden along at the back of the field. Did win here last month, and since was unplaced in the Summer Plate, a race in which Lada Manial so nearly prevailed in, finished second in that Grade 3 prize. As they turn into the home straight, they've taken 5 of the 14, and it's Dibali Basket in front, the navy blue jacket, leading to Larch Hill and Lada Manial. Here is the 6th, Dibali Basket, all getting over that. Larch Hill, Lada Manial, Destriere is on the inside in 4th, and then our Vico Blur, Admiral Sunset, and finally Rostello, the water taken once and only once in this race, all landing over it and heading down towards a further plain fence number 8, and it's Dibali Basket has made all the running so far to Larch Hill, who won here last month over a little bit shorter. Destriere was in close at that fence, not fluent, and lost ground and squeezed along by Harry Skelton, getting a flick or two down the shoulder, as Admiral Sunset is slightly more competitive on the outside of our Vico Blur, and Rostello is 2 lengths away in last place. They've completed a circuit in the Brian and Sheila Vaughan Memorial. Dibali Basket measures that next fence very well and is leading to Larch Hill and Lada Manial. They are the first 3, followed by Admiral Sunset, Destriere and Vico Blur. Rostello last of all, getting over the next. Dibali Basket lands in front of Larch Hill by a length and a half. Lada Manial has already won the best turned out prize. She's on the outer and racing in 3rd. 2 lengths separate the first 3. Same distance back to Admiral Sunset going 4th, partly pushed along Destriere. And then our Vico Blur and Rostello. Our Vico Blur has lost his spot, so Dibali Basket just making it sting a little bit here. Fired at the next fence, jumps it well, but so do to his 2 closest pursuers. And they are Larch Hill and Lada Manial. Admiral Sunset trying to get onto their tail in 4th. A big gap then to Rostello. It's been hard work for him for a while. He's faring better than our Vico Blur, and Destriere is being eased down. It's going to be pulled up. So, running down towards the second last, Lada Manial is now mounting a challenge to Dibali Basket, who's cut out the running. Larch Hill is in 3rd, and Admiral Sunset 2 out. Dibali Basket, he was a lot better than the mare. Lada Manial, she was mounting a challenge, but she made a pig's ear of the second last. Larch Hill around her inside, so Dibali Basket handed another chance, but they're closing him down again. Larch Hill and Lada Manial, 3 of them, turning into the home straight, 8 lengths clear of Admiral Sunset. 1 left to jump. Dibali Basket pressed by Larch Hill and Lada Manial on the outside, hard driven. They're well clear of Admiral Sunset. They run down towards the last. Lada Manial and Larch Hill going on. Lada Manial coming to the final fence. Can she get this one right? Lands level with Larch Hill on the flat then. Lada Manial edging to the front from Larch Hill in 2nd place, and Lada Manial is keeping on well. She'll gain compensation. Lada Manial survives a blunder 2 out to win the Brian and Sheila Vaughan Memorial. A hard-fought success under John Joe O'Neill Jr. 2nd Larch Hill, and 3rd Dibali Basket, clear then of Admiral Sunset and Rostello.
Hard-fought success for Lada Manial. Bad mistake, 2 out. But rallied after that, and the 15-8 favourite is 1 for the John Joe O'Neill team. Larch Hill in 2nd place.
Right, tricky little handicap coming on next. Very good one. Let's have a look at horse number 11 in the pre-parade ring. We're going to have a look at a couple of David O'Mara horses. Horse number 11 is Orban, who will be ridden by Jason Watson, who has just been in tremendous form of late. We know the Goodwood run was brilliant. It looked a competitive handicap that he absolutely took up. It looks really well, this horse, given this is a 4th start really in pretty quick succession. In fact, since the 3rd of July, he's been very much on the go. And then he backed it up at Ascot, where I wasn't certain that a drop-in trip and a smaller field would necessarily suit. He was very impressive on that occasion, and lines up here with a good chance. Drop back to the horse behind, who is Busala. Tom Marquand and William Haggis combining. William's having a good time of it here, really putting to bed any worries about the yard off the back of a couple of horses taken out with dirty scopes. But all his horses, the obvious one, but others ran pretty well yesterday. Busala, who I think should appreciate the step back up in trip. Maybe some ease, or a bit more ease in the ground would have been a plus, but don't want to crab him on that necessarily. Just turn our attention over to the left. We can see Michael Dodds with his 2 daughters in there, applying the finishing touches to the saddling of horse number 20. That's Northern Express. And Northern Express, I think, has a very, very good chance here, which I'm sure Michael will be thrilled to hear. He's interesting because he's tried this distance before and hasn't necessarily convinced over it. I might just ask Michael if he'll have a quick chat with me. And then he's now stepping up to it with, I would imagine, the hope that he will settle a little bit better. Michael, I'm sorry, live on Racing TV, I couldn't just drag you over this way, could I? Apologies. I was just talking about the chances of your horse and the fact that he's going back over a mile. Now, do you think he'll have more chance of getting it and settling over it now he's a bit older?
It all depends whether there's a pace. If there's a fast pace, main thing to this horse is a fast early pace. And if you look at his last race at Ascot, for a race like that, they didn't go very fast, and he was travelling too well. Graham Lee said if they'd gone a pace, he'd have been even closer, and he's only beat a length. But there was no other races over 7 here, so we thought we'd give him a try in a mile. But you know, I really don't know. He's a good 7 furlong horse, but this is trying something new.
But hasn't he been shaping as though he wants a mile the last few starts, to your eye, or not?
He has, but it always doesn't work out when you try them over further. I mean, if they go hard, I think he'll get the trip. If they don't go hard, I think he'll struggle because he might travel too keenly.
Okay. I feel you'd be unlucky in this big field if they didn't go hard, but we'll see.
You would hope they go hard.
I wish you all the best. Let you get back over there. Cheers. That's Michael Dodds, who's a horse I do think has got a good chance. A beautiful horse, number 4, spin over to our left again, and we'll pick up Turanian Sea, who might be going in, but I'm hoping not. Oh, is, but is an absolute stunner in the fresh, this Turanian Sea for Roger Varian and Dre at Zany, and Fran and Lydia can pick him and others up in the paddock.
We certainly can have a look at these horses. We'll start with number 9 just there, the grey, and that is Saga for John and Fady Gosden.
Yeah, that is good behind Tempest last time at Ascot. Prior to that, ran a cracker draw to Royal Meeting, just beat ahead off Mark 97. Got put up £8 for that, quite excessive. He's got a wide draw today to overcome as well. Interesting to get a round track place today as well. Will the rail hold up, or will stall 19B to his advantage?
Yeah, not the most straightforward horse either, I think. Let's move over to horse number 4 there, and that is Tyrenian Sea for Roger Varian.
Yeah, surprised when he got beat on Good Friday, wasn't it, back in April in Newcastle. He was a well-touted horse, flashy looking individual, isn't he?
He's very distinctive, isn't he?
Yeah, you won't miss him out in the field. And Windsor was a funny race last time, small field, he ended up in the middle of the track. He didn't seem to get a lot of help to get into the race. Still got to prove he can operate on grass. Question mark stands here. Is his overall body of form rating of 105? Is that true?
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to find out. This is a proper measure of him. Let's have a look at horse number 19, and that is Uzo for Jamie Osborne, ridden by his daughter Safi.
Yeah, 4th last time to Orban at Goodwood, ran a very good race in that competitive handicap, only upper pound, decent draw and stall 8. He's in the mix as an each way player.
Okay. Back round to the left-hand side, we'll pick up number 17, and that is Blue for You. David O'Mara sends this horse out.
Yeah, 6th run for David O'Mara, formerly trained with Dermot Wild. He's yet to win for the team, but he's really worked his way into form. Been second his last 3 runs. Needs advisors. He probably just does bare minimum. David O'Mara mob-handed here. Very good draw and stall 1.
Okay, round to the left-hand side again. Pick up horse number 3. That's the penultimate, I suppose. We'll stick with the David O'Mara theme, and this is the very popular Escobar.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. He's only 8, but he feels like he's been around forever. He's won in the track, and he ran a very good race to a point at Goodwood last time. This track will play more to his strengths. Expect him to be finishing late and fast.
Okay, round to number 15 next, and that is Echo Point, representing Charlie Appleby, just there. Echo Point.
Echo Point, yeah, good run at Newmarket last time. First run back is running at Maidan over the winter months. Running over further at Maidan. He got going late over mile last time. Strong pace here should suit him.
Okay, behind is number 20, and that is Northern Express for Michael Dodds.
Yeah, 4th fresh last time over 7 furlongs. He ran a good race on that occasion, stepping up per mile. A little bit of an unknown, but he could well suit him in this type of race, bring about a little bit more improvement.
Okay, we're just waiting for the rest of the horses to come and join us at this end. Number 6 is the next one that we'll see. This is another of the David O'Mara massive. This is Shalir.
Yeah, Shalir actually formerly trained on the course of United Can horse, strong traveller. Won here with a cut in the ground back in the last year. Really likable individual. He is up to somewhat of a career high mark here, and he's in the mix, but he needs to produce a career best here. Ground on the dead side, a good potential should suit him.
Okay, let's move back to horse number 2, who's just there on the left-hand side, and that is Busala for William Haggis.
Yeah, a little bit underwhelming in Newcastle last time. That was, of course, on a Newcastle plate day, wasn't it? And prior to that, good run at Chester behind Red Mirage. race. A bit more improvement.
Okay, let's go to last year's winner of this race, shall we? Number 7 there, that is Cruyff Turn for Tim Easterby.
Yeah, made all last year. He done it in great style. He's only 3 pounds higher than that. Pace angle again, and he goes into stall 15. Might not be as easy from out there. He won for stall 8 last year.
He's wearing earplugs there, and that is Cruyff Turn, who does handle this track really, really well. Right. Those 3 horses we've seen already. Number 8 we haven't seen. The 4th horse is directly 180 degrees behind us, and that is Shining Blue for Saeed bin Sarur.
Yeah, quite interested this horse. He's obviously lightly raced and he's a little bit unexposed. Hood on should be a help after running a good one. More conventional track will play to his strengths. His all-weather form is good. He's a player. If he steps forward today on grass, he's been pretty well supported. He looks well in himself.
Okay, let's go around back to number 10, who's just again 180 degrees behind. This is Lion Tower, who's having a really good season.
Yeah, not beaten far behind fresh in that race at Ascot over 7 furlongs and backed it up with a very good run at Redcar last time when he won nicely. He's got the standard penalty here, running off a career high mark in 99. The extra furlong today should suit him well.
And timely interview, I think, because Grant Tour is with Tom, and he is the trainer of Lion Tower.
He is indeed. I'm just going to fight my way in, actually. I know the bell's gone. Grant, I'm very sorry to interrupt live on Racing TV. We've just been having a look at your horse. I know you'll be giving the leg up shortly. Well, what do you make of Lion Tower's chances?
I think it'll be tough for him, to be honest. He's in career best form, and I thought the Redcar run was a career high for him. But he's higher in the weights again, isn't he, with that £6 penalty. We're technically £4 wrong. It's going to make it tough, but he loves it here, and he's in great form.
Yeah, what's his best trip, do you think?
Well, that's... Yeah,
I don't mean that to be a leading question.
Well, it is a little bit, isn't it? I mean, yeah, 7 or 8. I always think 8. A lot of people think 7. We'd probably mix between the two. Listen, we'll go forward today. We're drawn forward, drawn well. Sam's just going to drop his hands and let him roll, see where he ends up. We'll probably end up 3rd, 4th, somewhere in there. It's Gold Cup day for us, isn't it?
Yeah. Wish you all the best. Cheers, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
So we pick up with horse number 14. This is Isla Kai for Nigel Tinkham. I don't think this horse has quite had the season Nigel was expecting him to.
No, he's a front runner. He likes to get on the pace. He's a big individual, big strong individual who can be keen on a couple of occasions. Went off probably far too quick for his own good at Ascot last time. Going to be hard for him out in that draw, but he is a likeable horse that is on a career high mark.
Very much so. I think that Nigel thought he would win a few more races than he has so far this season. I still feel that there's plenty of capability in him. Right, the third of those horses coming towards us is number 5, Ross Collin, who is a fantastic runner for the Horse Watchers, and David O'Mara, of course, trains.
Yeah, Harry Davis, £5, very good value in a race like this, and you go back to his run at Ascot in June, that would leave him bang there.
And we can go and join the Horse Watchers now.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to butt in right now to Chris Dixon, who's giving Harry Davis just some instructions and talking Harry through everything. I think he's a very interesting booking off the back of the run last time. And, well, Chris and Martin, we know they know exactly what they're doing. And Harry's just asking Chris about exactly what to do and taking a keen interest into exactly what Chris is saying here. The horse has been in great nick. He must have a very good chance, and he's been on the go a good bit. Chris, can I just jump in there very quickly, Chris? Sorry to interrupt. I know you've been giving Harry some instructions there. How do you see this panning out?
How do I see it panning out? Small field. Yeah, I was going to say it'll be fast and furious, won't it? But you tend to not want to be a million miles back here, so it's a competitive handicap. Usually lower draws would be the place to be. I think ultimately lower draws, mid-division or further forward, so that's what we'll be doing somewhere in there.
Is he handicapped to win, do you think?
He's £2 wrong, isn't he? It was an early closing race, so we're down to 102, run of 104, but Harry's claiming 5 and he lost his 5 the other day, so he's essentially a £3 claimer, so that kind of balances it out. Is he handicapped to win? You'd be struggling to say he's a well-handicapped horse, but I think that's true with quite a lot of the horses when you get into this type of race. We know that big field handicaps suit him, and I think he'll run well. I'm quite confident he'll run well today.
Good luck.
Cheers.
One Dixon to another. Martin standing beside me talking about Ross Collin. You may as well just add your tuppence worth to what Chris has said, Martin.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it, but hopeful of a good run. But obviously it's a very competitive race, isn't it? But he ran a screamer at Goodwood, and we've got a much better draw today. So fingers crossed. But look, there's plenty of others. I thought Uzo was a big price. He finished in front of us at Goodwood, albeit from a better draw. But he's been running really well all season. last couple of starts, unlucky at Sandown, good run at Goodwood, and he's a previous course and distance winner. He was a bigger price than I thought he probably should be at 22 to 1.
Jane, where do you dive into this?
There's two key pieces of form, and we want to look at the Orban Golden Mile at Goodwood. That's where Blue for You is top of the market, because there's a turnaround in the weights. He was giving £6 to Orban, now he's £3 in receipt, so that's why logically he's your 11 to 2 favourite. Redwich is just behind him, and Olsey you mentioned as well.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason that we do fancy Groscolin a bit today is if you touch on Blue for You at the top of the market, Groscolin £3 better off in turn with Blue for You, and we had a shocking draw at Goodwood, and Blue for You had the prime pitch from 1. So, you know, there's a case for so many. Northern Express, will he quite stretch out to the mile? I'm not certain of that. I mean, he's got a good York record. He's been very progressive, really strong travelling horse, but I just wondered whether this might stretch him.
There you go then, Blue for You 11 to 2, 30. Croy Turn, who also won at the Dancy Festival, ran really well in the Bunbury Cup over an unsuitable 7 on the wrong side of the track, Jane. Any reason why he can't win again?
No, he's up £5, but that's a fair turnaround. He's a 5-year-old, he's a locally trained horse, of course, and distance winner, and he is a 6-time winner. He's got Brunch, Lion Tower, What's the Story, and Isaac Hay all behind him on recent form. He's run the Bunbury Cup of Newmarket, Martin.
No, it was a decent run. He's £5 higher, isn't he, than this race last year when he caused a bit of an upset price turn, but he made most of the running last year and he got things pretty soft on the lead. This is a race that often you don't want to be drawn too wide. You don't want to actually be too far off the pace.
Sure.
Horses win it from a little way back, obviously, but if you drop right out here at York in a big field, it can be tricky. And like I say, you probably don't want to be drawn too wide over this round mile either.
Saga has captured plenty of headlines this season, most notably for that supposedly luckless second at Royal Ascot. I say supposedly because I just don't think he's the easiest, almost straightforward to get into the race at the right moment. Now, Ryan Moore's been charged with riding him today, not Frankie Dettori. Who knows, that might make a difference, but the ability's there. I think it's just got to drop right for him.
I think he just has to be smuggled into a race. He's drawn 19. I think Ryan will have to drop in and take his time and kind of bring him through the race without the horse really realising he's in a race, if you know what I mean. You certainly don't want to be getting too much daylight on him. So he's drawn 19. He'll be certainly slot in. You mentioned Frankie Dettori. He's on Shining Blue. The hood is on for the first time. Shining Blue had quite a progressive profile. If we rule out the Golden Mile run at Goodwood, he'd be a lot shorter here. I think he's run at Leicester, onto Ripon, onto Newcastle. Yes, they were conditions races, they weren't as deep as this, but he could spring a surprise here.
He pulled very hard in the Golden Mile. He was also drawn very wide, and it was a tough ask from where he was, but he pulled way too hard early. The hood's on, and Frankie's on today, so they're going to try and get him to switch off. You're talking about Saga. I think that draw in stall 19 is problematic for him. It's not going to be easy. Obviously, the right man's on top with Ryan Moore. Blinkers on, he's won them a couple of times now, hasn't he? Good run at Royal Ascot, and a poor one last time out that he's got to bounce back from. His second favourite in here, Echo Point, consistent so far, but 5 handicap starts, started off a mark of 85. He still hasn't managed to win a handicap, and yet he's £11 higher than when he started out in this sort of company, so he's going to need another career best.
11 to 2 Blue for You, Echo Point 13 to 2, 7 Northern Express, 9 Shining Blue as we head out and join Tom.
Yeah, I heard Martin talk about there traditionally in this you might not want to get too far back from a riding perspective. Fran, if you're riding a horse in a big field handicap round the mile here, where do you want to be positioned?
Look, it's very hard to make up ground here, particularly if the stage to the far rail, it can get very congested in behind trying to work through horses. The pace, Christ Horn, he stalled 15. I think Isla Kai also installed 17. They're two obvious front runners. Terrenian C, Andreas Heaney, be hoping to get a lead off him. He had a messy run last time at Windsor. And Shining Blue is very interesting with Frankie with the hood on. He's got the pace around him out wide to get him settled. He's open to a bit more improvement back on a flat track.
Yeah, and I know that Angus McNabb thinks that Echo Point on the speed figures has got a pretty good chance. I'll chance Northern Express, although Michael Dodds I think did his best to put me off, Fran, so there you are.
Sounded like that, yeah, but look, it's Northern Trainers having a good week and wouldn't rule him out.
All right, Nick, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Tom. It is post time then for this 3 o'clock, the Clipper Logistics handicap. £125,000 here. Just put a button on it for me, Martin. Right. How's it all going to unfold?
It's very competitive. Your favourite Blue for You can understand from a good draw with Tudhope up, good York form, but he has made a bit of a habit of finishing sort of second and third, hasn't he? So he's got to put those those placed efforts into a win today. I think he's short enough at the front of the market. I think Echo Point is short enough for the reasons I expressed. He's had 5 goes in handicaps, not yet a winner, and yet he's gone up the weights all the time. Northern Express, he's got to prove himself over the trip. Shining Blue needs to bounce back. I can see something at a price winning the race. Obviously, I'm hoping it's Ross Collin, and I do think he'll run a big race.
Are we at risk of forgetting one of the most unexposed runners in here, and it's Tyrrhenian Sea, number 14. Yes, 14 stall will be a bit of a detriment to his chances, but 5 of his 6 runs have come on the all-weather. He was second behind Living Legend in that valuable classic on the all-weather at Newcastle. And he's run behind My Oberon. Yes, he finished 4th of 4, but he wasn't beaten all that far. I think he's open to a lot more improvement than some of these. He could be better than what we've seen.
I can see that, definitely, yeah. To be honest, I'm a little bit surprised given his profile and the way that he burst onto the scene. He had a big reputation early, that he's not a shorter price than he is. I think he's the typical profile from a big Newmarket yard. You would expect him to be very popular in the market, but he's actually slid out a little bit. But very strong travelling horse, Tyrrhenian Sea. That muddling 4-runner race didn't suit him really last time out at Windsor, and I would imagine that this will suit him a lot better, where they go hard, he gets cover, and a strongly run mile. He sees out his mile races very well. Should suit him ideally.
Busala is in. Last year's winner Cruyff Turn is about to go forward. Shalia, the grey, the pale blue colours, and Tyrrhenian Sea is the darker grey in the Niarchos family silks. Lion Tower, who's got good form here, is nearest to you, an outsider who could run pretty well. I thought Face Player looked extremely good in his coat, and he too is pretty inexperienced and not fully exposed.
Second run in the handicap, he just failed last time, and he too is open to more improvement. This is just his 5th career start. We're talking about pace. It could come from Uzo in stall 8. Isla K also can lead, but he's in 17. Interesting to see what Rowan Scott decides to do there.
All right, we're down to the last few here then for this mile handicap, another heritage handicap, another £125,000. It's the Clipper Logistics Stakes. Mike, it's all yours.
Yes, it's a terrific race, isn't it, Nick? It really is. Great to hear Jane and Fran's inputs as well. And good luck to Martin. Ross Collin, who's been running pretty well. He ran well at Ascot and Goodwood, didn't he? Harry Davis, there he is on the right, though. Rather reluctant to go forward. Revich, he's an interesting horse, I think. I think he's overpriced, but he has got a high draw. So we're down to the last 4. Revich for Midland Park, who's already had a great afternoon. Ross Collin is being almost carried towards the gates by about 4 or 5 handlers. Seems to be working, though. Got the blindfold on him as well. So just 3 left. Escobar, Blue for You, and his old rival on the far side, Revich. Escobar, the last one in then, and he too is in a much sweat at the start. That's it. 18 runners set, and they're off. For the Clipper Logistics handicap, this Heritage Handicap Class 2 worth £125,000 in the pot. Isla Kai and Shalia broke well from the outside. Frankie's up there as well on board Shining Blue in the white cap, as is the Echo Point, the stable companion from Godolphin, although trained, of course, by Charlie Appleby. Up on the inside rail with Uzo alongside him as they settle down. Lion Tower seeking a nice position behind these leaders is followed through by Blue for You and Tyrrhenian Sea. But Isla Kai takes them down the side of the course from Uzo in the gold jacket, followed then by Echo Point and Shalia on the outside. Ross Collin is in 5th place, Lion Tower. And then Shining Blue, Tyrrhenian Sea next to the rail is Blue for You. They're followed then by Busada. Revich with a bit on at the back of the field with Orban on the inside. Cruyff Turn last year's winner alongside Saga, together with Young Fire, trying to make up ground as their runners hurtle down the home straight towards the final 3 furlongs. Isla Kai over on the far rail, the leader. Down the centre, Shalia the Grey. Shaken up now, Shining Blue coming there. Tyrrhenian Sea and Uzo with a bit of a challenge as well. On the inside, Echo Point point, struggling for room then is Ross Colin. Down the outside, Escobar is taking off. Look at Blue For You, he's angling through Blue For You in the white cap, and he's short of room. They've got about 6 or 7 with a chance. Escobar on the outside is motoring home with some purpose and probably hits the front inside the final furlong. Tyrenian Sea, Blue For You is after him though, now in the clear. Can Blue For You get there? Is it going to be tight? Oh, he can get there. Blue For You and Escobar. It's a 1-2 for David O'Mara. Tyrenian Sea was 3rd place, followed home in 4th by Orban.
3 of the first 4 home, David O'Mara. Take a bow. He did it at Goodwood. He's done it again here in one of these heritage handicaps. This time, Blue For You has his day in the sun. It's not before time. Escobar has run a mighty race in the second. That's Escobar finishing off fast. Tyrenian Sea, inexperienced horse for Roger Verry in 3rd. Orban is 4 for Verry, and Uzo is 5, and it's pretty close for the rest. I mean, Ross Collin, the other stable companion, not too far away, but 1-2-4 for David O'Mara in a race like this. He farms these rich handicaps, and he very rarely.
And this is another horse like Esty on the scene in these big handicap races for a good few years to come. He's only a 4-year-old. He's done well today. He's been smuggled into the race. You can see he gets trapped for room, locked up at a crucial point, and
probably
then
what he wants.
It probably is what he wants, but then he had to overcome it, hasn't he? Escobar briefly got first run on him, and he's just managed to edge his way through the gap at a crucial point. And you know, Danny's exceptional on this type of horse, and he's managed to just deliver him perfectly at the right time.
It's a grim irony, really, for Escobar that he's found himself in front a bit soon. If Blue For You had to commit when Escobar committed, then Adam Kirby on Escobar would have had something to aim at.
Yeah, it's a huge run from Escobar. He's rated 105, and he's just run another massive race. He's a very, very good horse, isn't he? And he delivers so many times in these races, and you know, hats off to Dave. It's a tremendous effort, isn't it? As you say, 1-2-4. He did very similar at Goodwood in the Golden Mile, and he's got an amazing record in these big handicap races.
Blue For You second in that race, behind Orban. If you look at where Orban's come from here, yellow sleeves and cap, he's found himself shuffled a fair way back.
He's a good bit back on the rail. It was Isla Kay who got across from 17 on the front. Echo Points at second. Eventually Safi Osborne and Uzo from 8 sits up alongside the Godolphin horse. None of those 3 really matter in the end. Chalier's never far from the pace. Where's Escobar? Escobar, you can see his red cap in the centre, right in the centre of the field. Saga never picked up the bridle, never wanted to race today, but Orban, he's plenty to pass. He would have been an unlucky loser, or sorry, the eventual winner, Blue For You, would have been an unlucky loser. Where is he sat at this stage? He's got a little bit just in the middle of the centre of your shop beside the Niarchos colours, Tyrenian Sea, who's ran a massive race for Roger Varian. But look how he gets chopped off here. He's behind your horse, Martin, and he has to switch around twice. He gets checked.
He does, yeah. I mean, he's done well, but as Nick touched on, I think it's probably what he wants. He's finished second quite a lot of times, hasn't he? And he probably doesn't want to be in top front too long. He just got edged out late on here when he probably hit the front early enough last month, and Danny almost wanting to smuggle him through horses, I think, and take his chances between horses. But you always take your chance in these big handicaps. It could close on you, but he's timed it perfectly as it's turned out. And stall 1 has beaten stall 7, 14. A good effort from Tyrenian Sea from a less than ideal draw.
Orban has rattled home into 4th place. It takes something to keep these handicappers in top races firing and sweet and still with enough in hand, enough up their sleeve. And this horse has been campaigned very openly. We're riding with Todd Hope now, Martin.
This will be interesting, won't it, in the latter stages? You'll see how the gaps close on him. We go through the final couple of furlongs now. He gets dropped off behind Chalier here.
Yeah, his own stable companion Chalier's done him there. And here's another stable companion. It's Friendly Fire all over the shop.
Danny knows them all well anyway, doesn't he? The man on top of the winner in the end, and just late on.
And Adam does come a fraction left, so there's definitely a bit of shouting there. Keep over, because they end up from being in the centre of the track to being 1 or 2 off the rail.
Yeah, brilliant shots then, aren't they? When you're on board the winner anyway.
That's a superb performance from Danny Tudhope. We've seen it so many times, and so grateful for that jockey cam footage. Gives us real insight. Blue For You has won here to the delight of seemingly an inordinately large amount of the champagne bar, who who let out a guttural roar when the judge announced the verdict.
Two fabs in big
There
fields
won't be
have
a
gone in.
bigger roar for the Oaks winner.
There you go. The big white face of Blue for You in the winner's enclosure after the Clipper Logistics Stakes. More joy for David O'Mara, and at this price.
Went off favourite 11-2, I think, Nick. And just got there, selected by Dave.
Yeah,
on the website. Well done.
Not exactly. I did say I'd lost my bottle a bit back in it, so it hasn't rewarded me anything like yesterday's winner. But it's nice to have a nice winner in a handicap on the day. Backed into favourite. He's drawn one. He's in about lane 6 or 7 now. Goes even wider, cuts in. But I don't think Danny Tudhope was actually panicking as much as I was, even though the door slammed in his face there by his own stablemate, as the lads have pointed out. Has another go, still can't. Then he's got his other stablemate, old Escobar, looking as though he's going to win. But I think he was always confident. The way he went past the line, side on, I thought looked a lot more comfortable than that narrow margin suggests. So
your concerns about stall 1 were valid, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's why he got into trouble.
He must have had. He's another winner like the winner of the sales race, who must have actually had about £7 in hand, given the extra distance and the traffic issues that both of them have met, and they've still won actually quite comfortably.
Yeah. Okay, let's go and join Lydia.
And I really want to hear from Danny Tudhope exactly how he delivered Blue for You, weaving through lots of problematic passages. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, it wasn't nice. He had a bit of trouble in running, but kind of suits his horse being checked and bumped about a bit. And I think if he gets there too soon, he just sort of thinks he's done enough. He deserves this win. You know, he's been second in a consecutive few times lately, and you know, he deserves this.
Yeah, he absolutely did. I know what you mean. It probably does help him to some degree, but he's still got to get there, hasn't he?
He did. I think James Doyle on Shalia, he sort of came and sort of got him away the first time, and then Adam Kirby on, you know, Escobar.
Friendly fire.
Yeah, I had to just give them both a shout. But yeah, you still have to get there, and he did well to do that. You know, after that.
He's very consistent, actually.
He's very consistent. Look, he's a good horse, isn't he? It's great, you know, for the owners. These big competitive handicaps. He's definitely paid his way in the last few months.
Fantastic from David O'Mara as well. First, second, and fourth in a competitive handicap like that. I know he's targeted it with 6, but nonetheless.
Yeah, look, fortunately for David, you know, he's got these, you know, good handicapped horses really. Every year he produces them. It's obviously great to, you know, win one. Never mind first and second. You know, he did it a good bit the last day. This horse was second, and now he's got him one. So it's obviously great for David and the whole team. You know, they work hard, and you know, like I said, they've got, you know, a number of these horses, and he obviously targets them well.
Absolutely. Congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done to Danny Tudhope. He got through in time to win by a head. 11-2 favourite Blue for You. Escobar 28-1. Tyrolean Seed 10-1. And Orban in fourth was 14-1. Blue for You, the 11-2 favourite.
The winning horse is a golf horse.
Time to go to Stratford. It won't be long until they jump for our next from there, the 3:15 contest, which is a handicap hurdle. It's a class 5. It's over 2.5 miles a furlong. The Sergeant is the 3-1 favourite. Encashment 4-1. The flag is up. Here's David.
Approaching the starter. Our 5th race today, and they're off in the Walls and Ceilings International Limited Handicap Hurdle. And the field led by Tiffany Rose, leading towards the first of 8 flights here. Tiffany Rose in front of Side Shift, and getting to number 1. Hey Bob is well to the fore. Maddie wasn't that fluent towards the back of the field as Tiffany Rose leads Hey Bob. Durra, the orange jacket with Encashment. Encashment well to the fore, and the greys just in behind them, that is Colonel Leslie in company with Reigns of Castamere. A little gap to Order of St John, about 5 lengths back to that one. Another 4 to the held up Durra in company with Maddy. Sargent is weighted with, and Near Kettering is at the back. So Tiffany Rose, the best turned out winner, leading under Sean Houlihan, to Hey Bob and Ned Fox, sharing second with Side Shift and John O'Neill Jr. Encashment, Keelan Woods. White-faced runner is next. The red cross belts on the amber jacket. And then on the inside is Colonel Leslie and Paul O'Brien, Reigns of Castamere and Jack Hogan next, and the first 6 are 4 lengths clear of Order of St. John. In front of Madi, the dark green and yellow. Durra is weighted with ahead of Sargent, and finally near Kettering as Tiffany Rose puts in an extra stride getting over that. Diving at it just worse than midfield was Order of St. John, but he's okay. And near Kettering is getting squeezed along at the back of the field. Near Kettering about 12 lengths behind the leader, and she's still Tiffany Rose in front of Side Shift and Hey Bob. These are the first 3. Colonel Leslie is 2 lengths back in company with Encashment as they get to the 4th, and then Reigns of Castamere. Durra keeping an eye on things from around about 7th place in company with Order of St. John, and followed by Maddie and then Sargent, and a tap behind the saddle for Near Kettering in last place. And quite a well stretched out field, and they are continuing to be led by Tiffany Rose. The hoop jacket of Hey Bob on the outside. The checks of Side Shift, a little bit untidy there, Hey Bob, followed by Colonel Leslie and Encashment in 5th position, just woken up after jumping that. Reigns of Castamere is following, and Reigns of Castamere is in company with Durra and Order of St. John. Maddie is next, and then Sargent, and finally Near Kettering. So they've completed a circuit. They've got 3 left to jump in the Walls and Ceilings International Limited Handicap Hurdle. Tiffany Rose is still leading Side Shift. A good jump by the grey. Colonel Leslie is very competitive now under Paul O'Brien. The grey going up on the inside and just taking the lead in between these 2 hurdles. Colonel Leslie over that to Tiffany Rose. Side Shift, Encashment. Hey Bob has lost his position completely. Durra's trying to move forward. Sargent is picking off a few. The yellow and purple going past Order of St. John. Side Shift is weakening quickly, so Colonel Leslie is the leader. Encashment sticking in there in second. Her old rival Durra is on the outside of Sargent. They're both moving forward. Reigns of Castamere on the inside. Paddy Brennan just looking over, making sure that Jack Hogan had enough room in 5th position. Then Order of St. John. Maddie is next. Tiffany Rose has weakened. So it is Colonel Leslie in front of Encashment. Sargent going powerfully on the inside of Encashment. Durra is struggling past by Reigns of Castamere. Maddie is plugging on a little bit. Then Order of St. John, but it is the grey Colonel Leslie, but Sargent ready to go under Brennan in 2nd place. Colonel Leslie, though, just leads over the last, but Sargent lands within a length and now is being asked a question. Colonel Leslie is keeping on strongly. Sargent driven in 2nd place. Half a furlong to go. Colonel Leslie. Brennan throwing the kitchen sink at Sargent. The near side. Colonel Leslie pulling it out to Sargent. Here's the line. Colonel Leslie denies Sargent. Close for 3rd. Encashment involved in a photo there with Order of St. John and Durra, and then Reigns of Castamere.
That's a really good finish at Stratford. It got pretty tight. It is a funny angle, but I think the grey has obliged. Yet no problems. Colonel Leslie has gone in. Paul O'Brien on board. 11 to 1, and has got the better of the strong travelling Sargent. Traded short in the run. Couldn't get past. So that was the 3:15 at Stratford. Next from there, the 3:50, a handicap chase over 3.5 miles. For now, we go back to Lydia at York.
Well, David O'Mara has just won the Clipper Logistics Handicap. He targeted with 6 horses. He came away with a winner, a 2nd and a 4th. Blue for you in front. Many congratulations. You meant business for this race again, a bit like the Golden Mile.
A little bit like. We've got minors to qualify for these races, and it's good money. Quite a few of them are Yorkshire owned, and everybody wants to come here.
And what were you thinking? You had to have eyes everywhere as you're watching that race, didn't you?
As best I could, yeah. Sort of initially it was Blue for You was travelling so well, the eye was drawn to him, I guess. And then he got kind of interfered with by Shilly or other one a couple of times, so that didn't go very well. I wish I didn't have so many in the race for a few seconds there. But then Old Escobar swept down the outside, and I thought he was going to win, and my heart went out really to him when Blue for You got back up, because he's an old favourite, and he's not a prolific winner, Escobar, because his mark always stays so high, and he competes in all the top races. But to be fair, Blue for You didn't really get the splits at Goodwood when Orban won, so he deserved a big one himself. So I guess it's maybe a fair result in the end.
It is. I mean, we'll go in reverse order, but it's a huge performance from Escobar of 105, isn't
Massive, isn't it? Yeah. And no doubt the handicapper now will like to nudge him up again, but he doesn't win that much because he's always vulnerable to a young improver, because he always runs in these big races and he runs to such a high level. He never lets himself a chance to slip down. So hopefully if we can kind of be sensible about where his mark ends, you know, we can go to the Balmoral again and, you know, maybe the 7 furlong race the fortnight before it.
And Blue for you, I mean, as you said, a little bit unlucky last time. Is he a horse that likes to overcome that trouble? Is it in a way kind of suit him?
Danny seems to think so. Not sure. I prefer if it didn't happen. You know, but we got the right result on the right day today anyway.
Well, you got the win. Many congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Just want to grab we're in the pre-parade ring, just grab a quick look at Magical Lagoon, who's number 4 over there. She's just doing that, just going up on her front legs a little bit. She looks fine. There she is. She's having a little kick out. But she looks okay. I'm going to ask Kate Harrington to come and have a quick chat with me as well as you walked across. She's fresh.
She's very fresh. Lauren, who rode her out this morning, said she was lap fresh riding out, and she's just fresh. She just wants to. If she stayed down this end, she was absolutely fine, but she just wants to get on with things.
She looks really well.
Yeah, we're very, very happy with her since the Oaks, and, you know, I think physically she's got a bit stronger.
Yeah. So, I mean, since she's got up in triple, she's unbeaten over a mile and a half. But has she just always been crying out for the mile and a half? Do you think just come on leaps and bounds?
Yeah, she's a filly last year that she was just always growing into her frame, and she just progressed each one this year.
All right, wish you all the best.
Great, thanks.
That is Kate Harrington, who's going to head into the paddock with Magical Lagoon. You can see just in the distance there Aidan O'Brien and Jessica Harrington just chatting away as they go in. Aidan has saddled Tuesday, and she's in the paddock now, which is where we'll head to Lydia.
Well, this is the main event of the day, the Group 1 Darley Yorkshire Oaks. Fran and I will have a look at these fillies and mares. We'll start with number 1, the 4 times Group 1 winner, Alpinista.
Yeah, first time I've seen her in flesh, Lydia. She was very good, visually very good last time winning at St. Cloud. She showed a real good sharp turn of foot to pick up the leaders and win readily to death. That's a speed favouring track. Normally the pace holds up. The way she picked up was very taken. It looked to me like her best performance.
Yeah. Behind, just here, is number 3 on the left-hand side there. This is Lilac Road. It's been shaping for a couple of runs now, like this step-up in trip was wanted.
Yeah, she was finished off strongly in Goodwood. Looked slightly in trouble, if you like, 2 out, but she boxed on really well, eating up the ground and went through the line strongly. Was very keen in the early days. Got a very nice ride to win here back at the Dante meeting when switched off. I'd expect her to sit last and be ridden to finish today.
Okay, behind is number 5, just over there, and that is Poptronic, who's relatively lightly raced. She won the Hoppings at Group 3 level. She's trying a mile and a half for the first time here.
Yeah, the hood is on for the first time. She's a very, very forward way going over a mile and a quarter. I don't know what connections are planning, but I think by default she'll end up in front, and hopefully she can ensure an even pace, because a lot of these fillies like to get a lead, and she has the only pace angle potentially here.
Sounds like you're dismissing her to some degree.
I am at the distance, and I do think she's too forward going over a mile and a quarter to really, in this company, give herself a chance to finish, but she is a likeable individual in her own right.
Okay, number 4 is over there, Magical Lagoon. We've already heard from Kate Harrington. This is a likeable staying filly.
Yeah, she's very bone idle. She does what she has to do in a race. She looked beat in the Ribblesdale when joined by the second. Same in the Irish Oaks when tied eventually second. Joined her and she found more, but you never felt like she was going to get beat on that occasion, the Irish Oaks. And she looks better now than she does then. She's thriving. We don't know how good she is.
Okay. Second of the horses that are just passing us on the right there is Raclette for Andre Fabre, who stepped up to this trip last time and delivered her best performance yet.
It was a very good performance, but a very good ride by Olivia Pesley. He just sat second or third, but he kept sitting. He didn't commit onto the inside last furlong. She was on her feet at the line. I thought she was very well ridden to get the trip. A stronger run race might expose the stamina here.
Okay, so there's a couple that we need to see. We need to see Le Petit Coco, who I've never seen before in the flesh, so I'm looking forward to that. And also we need to see Tuesday. Le Petit Coco is there, the second of those fillies there, representing Paddy Toomey, the winner of the Group 1 Irish Pretty Polly last time out.
Very good performance on season debut. She's very unexposed this trip. 1 run, a mile and a half. She won a Group 3 in Cork in Ready style, winning by 5 lengths. She looks very well herself. The ground riding as it is should be perfect for this distance. Big day for Paddy Toomey.
Immediately behind is Tuesday, who has been very progressive this season, and she's had several quick runs and didn't get the clearest of passages in the Irish Derby last time.
I've been trying to put a line through that run, the Irish Derby, and I must say, in Epsom, the rear end of the saddle, I thought she was very light looking, immature. She was only 3 on that occasion. She's stronger looking today.
Is this typical of Magical Lagoon, number 4 here, the way that she's behaving?
She can be a handful. I wouldn't be too concerned about that. She just likes to get on with things, a bit impatient. Couple of race cars might be best off moving, but I wouldn't be concerned from a performance point of view. If it's not the railings there, I would be.
Absolutely right. Let's go join Tom.
Yeah, so this is the smallest field we've had of the day so far. It's got a lovely feel to this race. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it pans out. Connections of Lilac Road alongside her. She's got a lovely way about her, that filly, I thought. She walked around very calm. She really points her toe as she moves around. But yeah, she got a lovely way about her, and every chance she'll appreciate the step up and trip. There's Tom Marquand. If we spin right the way around 180 degrees, we'll see Luke Morris in the Kirsten Rousing colours. There's Sir Mark Presley. He's looking very, very relaxed, I thought, Sir Mark, and really excited to see this filly back on UK shores for the first time in a while. Kirsten Rousing with her back to us. Be great to see her colours carried to success here. We've got over to the left Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore. He'll be getting the leg up shortly on Tuesday. Can she put that, I suppose, slightly disappointing run in the Irish Derby behind her? Interesting that Connections went down that route, of course, and Swerve going down the Irish Oaks, which was won by Magical Lagoon. That off the back of the win at Epsom. She's having another go over the mile and a half, and every chance that she'll run a little bit better than we saw on that occasion. And then just through there, you've got Raclette in the Jubmont colours. There's Barry Marn, Managing Director of Jubmont, just having a chat with Olivier Pellier, and Raclette is having her second go over the mile and a half, having won at Longchamp last time. So it's a hugely interesting field, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Magical Lagoon can do. I might actually just... Paddy Toomey's just over there. Follow me over and I'll grab a quick word with him. He looks nice and relaxed, and he's having a chat with Billy Lee. The bell's just gone, so he's probably going to duck away from me, but I wonder if I can just jump in. Live on Racing TV, Paddy, Billy, sorry to interrupt. Fran and I had a quick chat with you out on track. I know you'd walked it. You all happy with everything?
Very happy, yeah. No, it's a tremendous order, so we're looking forward to the race.
How do you feel she matches up with some of the other horses, the 3-year-olds in here, for example?
She hasn't put a foot around, so we're looking forward to running.
And you were mentioning the other horses that you've got running later in the week. They're all here, they've all settled in fine?
They're all here and they're all settled and they're happy, so yeah, we're looking forward to running them.
You seem nice and relaxed, Paddy.
Thanks very much.
Good man. Good luck. That's Paddy Toomey. He's going to give Billy Lee the leg up very shortly.
All smiles, Paddy Toomey. La Petite Coco, the first of his really key runners this week. He'll be back here on Saturday with a favourite for the E-Boy. He's got a fancy in the Jean Romanet at Deauville, a Group 1 on Sunday. Could be a crucial week for him. 34% his strike rate, Jane, as we were discussing earlier in the week. When he shoots, he scores.
Yes, and of the 27 winners he's trained in Ireland, 9 of them have been at stakes level. He's not just training winners, he's training good horses, and this filly's been slowly brought to the boil. Her season last year culminated in that Blandford Stud Stakes win, where she narrowly denied Love. That form stacks up very well, and of course she came back this year. First run of the year to prepare her for Group 1. That was impressive, and it was a hard-fought win. Now she's up to the mile and a half, being by ruler of the world, with the German pedigree that she has, shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, she's had it once before, and she was emphatic, wasn't she? Cork, and I mean,
give thanks. Yeah.
Minor company in relation to today's race, but she really saw her race out strongly. You touch on that pedigree, the German side of it, down the damn side of her pedigree. There's loads of stamina, and you'd think that she should be a better filly, even stepping back up in distance.
Let's have a look at how they bet for the Yorkshire Oaks, sponsored by Darley once again. Alpinista 7-4 as she seeks a 5th Group 1 victory and her first on home soil. Tuesday, the Oaks winner is 100-30. La Petite Coco, about whom we've just been speaking, 9-2. 8-1 Lilac Road, who won the Middleton Stakes here at the Dante Festival and represents yesterday's hero William Haggis. Magical Lagoon, the Irish Oaks winner, though that race rather disintegrated, 8-1. Raclette is 11-1 Andre Farb's challenger with Olivier Pellier riding for Judmont, and Poptronic is the outsider at 33-1. Right, let's talk Alpinista then and try and assess, Martin, the strength of her continental form. We know she's got a verdict over Torquato Tasso. We know that in the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud she arguably took her form to a new level still.
Yeah, I think that's... it was probably at least as good, if not a little bit better than what she did last season, wasn't it? And it's fair to say, however, that a few of the big guns did underperform at Songklu last time out. Hurricane Lane not at his best, but she's developed into a very high level, very consistent filly.
She is also now Sir Mark Prescott's most prolific Group 1 winner, and the trainer is with Lydia.
And Alpinista, a 4-time Group 1 winner, her trainer, as you say, Sir Mark Prescott here. Great to see you, Sir Mark. And how is she?
She's fine. We've had no hiccups since France. She took a long time to come this year, but we've had no hiccups since France.
So that's why we didn't see her until that point at St.
Yes, the coat didn't come. The plan was to do Coronation Cup and King George. But when she missed the Coronation Cup, then it had to change to the Grand Prix Saint-Cloud and here. So, it just pushed it all back a bit.
And how would you rank that performance among her Group 1 successes? Do you think it was her best yet?
I think it looked the best off a fast pace. She quickened very well. I thought it looked the best. But the form book says, of course, one of those German races was actually, strangely, even better,
Well, you beat a subsequent art winner in Torquato Tasso. What do you assess the opposition as here?
I think it's a very deep race. Normally there's one very good filly that frightens everybody off a bit, Snowfall, Enabled, Love. And I think this is the deepest I can remember, unfortunately.
I'm afraid there's dangers everywhere, aren't there? Yeah. Very best of luck.
Yeah, thank you very much. You're very kind. Thank you. Thank you.
But all that said, and Sir Mark Prescott's absolutely right about the depth of the race, his is the horse who boasts the strongest credentials here, and that's why she's a 7-4 shot, and another great testament to the breeding skills of her owner, Kirsten Rousing. Tuesday, the Oaks winner is 3-1. The Irish Derby was a weird race, Jane, wasn't it? And she never was really there.
No, but we can talk tactics of the race, but she never really turned up. And in the preliminaries, she looked very light in herself, like a filly that was maybe going one race too many at such a time of the season. But I'm pleasantly surprised here. You cannot see a rib. She's obviously She's obviously benefited from that little bit of a break. She's out of the matron winner. She's a sister to Minding, Empress Josephine. It's a brilliant pedigree, you know that. But the company she's been keeping, she started the year third to Cachet in the Guineas at Newmarket, came back second behind Homeless Songs in the Irish Guineas over a trip that I think was inadequate. She then won at Epsom. She had an unlucky passage. Everybody was talking about Emily Upjohn. She too had trouble in running. Nashaw was the eventual third. So if she didn't run in the Irish Derby, I think she'd be nigh on favourite.
She's on her toes a little bit, though. The Irish Oaks winner, Magical Lagoon, and the Ribblesdale winner was quite fractious in the paddock and was kicking out everywhere, as you saw. I'm reliably informed, Tom Stanley and Fran Berry, that Alpinista is going to make the running here. What do you make of that?
That is something we were planning to discuss. There you go. Where's the pace going to come from? And it could well be Alpinista.
Yeah, very interesting. The way she picked up in Saint-Cloud last time to win, but she has been ridden on the pace on a couple of occasions. Quite surprised to hear that if it does materialise. Poptronic down the bottom. She's naturally forward-going, but she's stepping up a trip today. Magical Lagoon is uncomplicated. I think Shane Foley would love to just get a lead on her or sit second maybe. Le Petit Coco, again, is equally as easy to put wherever you want in a race, but I think Billy Lee at a mile and a half would like a toe into the race.
We've got an Irish Oaks winner in here, we've got an Oaks winner in here, but Alpinista would have it as the market would have it as the one to beat. Does that tell us that the view of this crop of staying 3-year-old fillies isn't quite up to what we've seen in previous years?
We walked out of Epsom on a Friday, of course, after the Oaks, thinking we'd 3 really good fillies. Now the third, Nazareth, has gone on to win it down in distance, but the first and second, Tuesday, and Emily Upjohn, questions and answers. We get learn more here, but I'm more siding with the older fillies here today. I think Le Petit Coco is the one.
We'll find out soon enough, Nick.
Tuesday, strong in the market, 100 to 30, 7-4 Alpinista, 4-1 La Petite Coco. Magical Lagoon is 8. What are you expecting from Magical Lagoon today, Jane?
I'm expecting it to press the pace. Whatever makes it, Magical Lagoon will be on their flanks. This filly I would fancy for St. Ledger, such as her stamina.
Any idea how good Raclette is, the French challenger?
She's going to have to improve, I think, on what she's done. But she's a young filly. She's by Frankel. She's improving pretty quickly on what she's done in France, and she's completely unexposed over this distance. But this is an altogether tougher test than what she's faced before in terms of opposition.
You surprised Alpinista's going to go on, if that information's correct?
I don't think they'll be hard set on it, to be honest with you. I think they'd like to see, for instance, you've got Poptronic in the field, who's a free-going filly. if she was to end up popping out, I think Luke would be happy to sit, on the lead. But it seems as if he would want to be positive with her. That's generally been the case with her. He held her up last time out in France, but never really wanted the position, I didn't think, in France last time out. And she did well to win, and generally she's been a filly who's been handy.
Oaks winner, Irish Oaks winner, flying for the flag for the classic generation. An intriguing contender by Frankel from France, from the master, Andre Fabre. The winner of the Middleton Stakes here at the Dante Festival at double-figure odds. One of the toughest in training, La Petite Coco. And, of course, the mare that's bidding to make it 5 Group 1s for Sir Mark Prescott, Alpinista the favourite. What a race it is for the Darley Yorkshire Oaks of 2022. And the man who's going to call it is Mike Casimir.
Yeah, this is an absolute stunning renewal, isn't it, Nick? It really is. There's Lilac Road. She's just a little bit reluctant to go in. She was taken down very quietly, went down ahead of the others. Lilac Road just taking a turn. Poptronic out the back, and so too is the Oaks heroine Tuesday. She's yet to go in as well. So 3 to go in this 7-runner lineup worth well over £500,000. Group 1 winners all over the place here. Poptronic going forward now. She goes in ahead of Lilac Road, who's got the blindfold on. Let's hope it manages to conjure up a forward move. Out the back, waiting calmly, is Tuesday, who surely wasn't at her best in the Irish Derby last time. Lilac Road half in. And they've got her in. So it just leaves Tuesday, who walks up now. Getting a little bit warm, Tuesday. That's it. All 7 fillies and mares all set to go here. And away they go for the Darley Yorkshire Oaks of 2022, and a really outstanding renewal it is as well. Racing over 1.5 miles here, and the early pace coming from Magical Lagoon in the green jacket. Shane Foley sending her out into an early lead, with on the outside then the lighter green colours there is Le Petit Coco, who moves up into 2nd place, just ahead there of Alpinista, the grey, as they, 1 or 2 of them jump that path. Tuesday is sitting handily in 4th, Raclette on that one's outside, Poptronic, and Lilac Road in the maroon and blue colours brings up the rear, about 6 lengths behind then as they go through the first 3 furlongs. They're moving down the far side towards the mile start here. A dispute for the lead between the 2 Irish fillies. On the inside there, Magical Lagoon. On the outside is Le Petit Coco. Magical Lagoon in the hands of Shane Foley. Billy Lee on the outside on Le Petit Coco, the Pretty Polly winner. Alpinista, the grey, Luke Morris tracking with Tuesday on that one's inside. Ryan Moore in the dark blue jacket. Olivier Pellier has Raclette in 5th place. Poptronic in the yellow is next for Sam James, and looking on still is Tom Marquand on board Lilac Road. The runners heading down now towards the halfway point of the contest, over on the top left-hand corner of the track then, here in the Darley Yorkshire Oaks. Beginning the long sweeping left-hand bend now, which brings them down the side of the course. If anything, well, you'd probably say Le Petit Coco has got on now by about a neck from Magical Lagoon in 2nd. Alpinista waiting to pounce in 3rd place as they straighten up for the judge. She's being tracked through then by Ryan Moore on Tuesday. Raclette's pink cap is next, just being squeezed along. Then on the inside, Poptronic, and as the pace lifts, they're all being squeezed along. Lilac Road trying to improve as well. So La Petite Coco is now setting out her stall, and she goes for glory here in the Yorkshire Oaks. Leads, but Alpinista is up to the challenge on the outside in the hands of Luke Morris, and draws alongside and just puts her grey head in front here as they bear on down towards the final quarter mile. Alpinista the leader, but Le Petit Coco and Tuesday on the inside are battling really hard as they race up towards the final furlong. Alpinista having to pull out a bit more. The Oaks winner Tuesday drawing alongside her on the inside. There's only a neck between her. Alpinista's having to be very brave here, and she is. She's got all the courage in the world and goes on to win the Yorkshire Oaks. Alpinista beats Tuesday. Le Petit Coco, it was tight for 4th, Magical Lagoon and Lilac Road.
What a race and what a mare she is, Alpinista. is now a 5-time Group 1 winner, and she's now secured her most important victory on home soil to add to 3 at the highest level in Germany and the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud when she beat Colt. Roll on the arc for Sir Mark Prescott's mare. She's very, very good. She's conceded the age allowance to the Oaks heroine Tuesday, right back on point. Group 1 winner, back in third, La Petite Coco. She's done it all. It's tight for fourth between the Middleton winner and the Irish Oaks winner. It all stacks up. So Mark Prescott was right. There was depth, but his was the best. And Luke Morris, at a track and a meeting which has been kind to him before with his Group 1 victory on Marsha in the Nunthorpe, is back in the Group 1 big time on this homebred owned by Kirsten Rousing. Really, really good running of the Yorkshire Oaks.
Toughest teak performance, lovely position behind the front two. Luke played his hand, but they all found generously for pressure. As you said, Tuesday bounced back. What a performance to give the Oaks winner £9. This filly's been very well placed all her career. She's winning her 5th consecutive Group 1, but down the outside mark, she makes her challenge. It didn't look that it was going to be straightforward, but she kept finding.
She did, yeah. She's very smart. She's also very tough. And she's been expertly campaigned, hasn't she? Think back 2 years, she was in Love's shadow in this race, finishing second, beaten 5 lengths. There's probably not a filly of that standing in today's field as good as Love was in her 3-year-old season, but she really kept on improving over the last 12 months, and she's got such a great attitude, and you could see that right the way through the last 300 yards of that race, where she had to keep digging deep, but the suspicion was always that there was going to be enough there. Well done to Luke. Tuesday's run a big race as well in second, hasn't she? She's right back to her best, but not just quite good enough, and not quite a strong enough stayer to peg back Alpinista.
A gorgeous filly with a lovely attitude, another by Frankel, who continues to exert such influence, not just on this track, not just on this meeting, but on the thoroughbred breed as a whole, and it's wonderful to see. But take it from the stalls, the early pace was far from electric. I'd been told that Luke Morris would go on, but he was in fact quite content to settle in just behind La Petite Coco and Magical Lagoon.
Yeah, this is very typical of Luke's riding generally. I think this is a position where he likes to take that, what he would describe, I think, as the box seat, right in behind the pace, just getting a slide in off 1 or 2. And she settles lovely, doesn't she, early on, and he commits her far enough out because he knows she's thinking that she's the best filly in the race, and she's a very strong stayer at 1.5 miles, and made all the right moves at the right time. No excuses for La Petite Coco, who just found this a little bit hotter, I think, than the Group 1 that she'd won last time out.
A quote immediately coming in of 6-1 for the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe Alpinista, and if you could be confident that there would be no Baid in that race, she would be a massive player. She's a massive player at any rate, Jane.
A massive player regardless, but before we think of October, we'll think of today. La Petite Coco got an easy lead up alongside Magical Lagoon. Shane Foley was at pains for somebody to go with him because Magical Lagoon can be quite an idle filly. He was looking across when the gates open to see if Alpinista would go forward, but Billy Lee kept him company. Luke Morris in the box seat. Ryan Moore very happy to sit fourth on Tuesday. Raclette, she's disappointed. I thought she was going to bring more to the party. Poptronic, despite the hood on first time, very keen in the hands of Sam Jones in behind, and Lilac Road has come home well to grab fourth under pressure under Tom Marquand. But the front two, they did 13 second furlongs all the way down the back straight, but Billy Lee was in pole position to steadily increase the pace. Luke Morris in his slipstream, very much aware to that. He knows his filly stays very, very well. It looked briefly like Tuesday was going to hit a flat spot, but she threaded the eye of the needle, and Magical Lagoon just lacked that bit of class where it mattered towards the end. But Kirsten Rousing, everybody would Landway stud. This is the dream result you wanted. Yes, you conquered Germany, you conquered France, but you came home and you took on the best of the round and you beat them.
Ryan Moore was confident here. He hadn't gone for the whole lot on Tuesday. One crack and you thought, well, he's got a little bit up his sleeve, but Alpinista is very, very talented.
Yeah, she's not easy to pass, is she, from this point? She's a very strong stayer as well. She's got that little bit more age and experience, and I think she probably is. Tuesday's seen her race out nicely herself, but I think Alpinista is a real strong 1.5 mile stayer, isn't she? She'd get a little bit further should they ever wish to try that. They probably won't at this stage of her career, but no, really tough, classy performance from Alpinista, and as you say, in this year's arc, she could well be a big player depending on what turns up, but it's not necessarily shaping up to be the hottest renewal of that race if indeed Bailly doesn't end up there as we expect.
The feature race on the second day, Ladies' Day of the Sky Bet Yorkshire Ebor Festival. goes to Alpinista. Owned and bred by Kirsten Rousing, trained by Sir Mark Prescott, ridden by Luke Morris, and Sir Mark's training career has been characterised by an unbending, unwavering loyalty and commitment to the jockeys who ride for him, and they are expected to show it in return. We saw it with George Duffield, we saw it for a few years with Seb Sanders, we've certainly seen it with Luke Morris.
And this is their second big win at this meeting. Marsha, a few years ago now, here at this meeting as well, so no, well done to all concerned, and it's a terrific family, isn't it? Alman over the Grand Dam, she was better as a 5-year-old. This is why they've plotted this path, I think, with Albanista. The mare herself, Alvilda, was better as a 5-year-old as well, not quite as classy as Albanova or indeed this mare, but it's a terrific middle distance family that just mature extremely well with age.
Albanova, half-sister was Alvarada, who was even better, dual champion stakes winner. Those two are immortalised in bronze in Sir Mark Prescott's yard, and surely, if she's not already, it's only a matter of time before this one gets a similar honour, because she's won more Group 1s.
I think this will secure that, won't it? For sure.
Roll on the Arc de Triomphe. And Sir Mark has been making noises for a number of years about the handover to his long-time assistant, William Butler. But I don't think there'd be too many people who'd begrudge a race like the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe alongside all the other interesting and extraordinary achievements in his very long career.
For sure, and while we're talking about a 5-year-old here, probably in her prime, it's another example. If you can keep these horses in training, they might just keep improving, and obviously she's been well placed all her career. And I mentioned to Landway Stud, this is a filly by Frankel. Frankel is the heir. A lot of us think we're looking for the heir to Galileo. We have the heir to Galileo. It is Frankel. He is having such a brilliant time of it, and that will continue. But Alouette, Albanova, you've already mentioned the family is brilliant. She's just another fruit from that tree.
Absolutely. Kirsten Rousing's Landway Stud stood the dam sire as well, Hernando, for many years. Important influence on the breed. And this mare Alpinista, one of the very best that she's bred. Let's pick up the starting prices for the Darley Yorkshire Oaks and more reflections to follow.
Yeah, she's a grand sort, isn't she, this Frankel mare? And she has now won 5 Group 1s on the bounce. Did a good battle today, though. Tuesday, back to her best, I think, you'd be fair to say. And she's run a big race in second place. But Alpinista was just too good, Dave. 6-1 for the Arc.
And I think that's fair. I mean, it looks really thin, the Arc. I'm not surprised there, and I'm hoping they do consider Baid for the Arc. But he'll have to go some to beat this filly over, this mare over a mile and a half. He'll know he's had a race for certain. I mean, you can't fault Luke Morris. You know, he's got his own style, but it's certainly effective on this. The Toomey mare has done the not so much donkey work, but set out to be up there. And then I thought Tuesday was going to. I thought they were battling to soften it up for Tuesday, but she never quite got there. And I agree with you, she's probably returned to somewhere near her best, at least from the Oaks. She ran a really good race after disappointing in Ireland last time, but you can't knock a horse that's won 5 Group 1s on the spin.
You can't.
And just keeps on winning, and it's the attitude as well as anything else. This is probably the most competitive Group 1 she's had to win, and she's done it in good style.
Done it really well, hasn't she? There's the result. Here's the time. It's a 2:29.92. It's a pretty good time. 0.82 outside standard. Blue for you, and 1.21 under the standard for 7 furlongs, 192 yards. That was a very strongly run race with Blue for you. Coming home quickly to win. Stratford, we need to get there pretty quickly as well. This is a handicap chase. It's over 3.5 miles. On time is 16 to 5. 4-1 Judge Earl. Tom O'Ruffley is a 6-1 shot. 7's Mr. Woody. Master Sunrise 7's 15 to 2. Porter Clock on the bandwagon 11's. 14's Regabi, and Call of the Loon 22 to 1. 9 run then, and David Fitzgerald will call them home once again.
And on the bandwagon is keen to get going as soon as possible, restrained by John O'Neill Jr. The others just catching up at the trot. This looks promising. And they're off. They're off and away for the National Racehorse Week 10th to the 18th of September handicap chase over about 3.5 miles. Master Sunrise prominent with Regaby and Call of the Loon, the dark green and yellow as they get to number 1. Judge Earl is also handy. Tomo roughly touched down in last position over the first of 20 fences. Regaby and the veteran Master Sunrise has already won the best turned out prize. These are the first two getting over the ditch. And Tomo roughly made a pretty hefty blunder in last position. Sean Houlihan stayed with him, but that was a really serious mistake from Tomo roughly, who's about 8 lengths behind the others as a result of it. As Regaby Master Sunrise leading, 3 lengths to Judge Earl in third, then on time herself. She wasn't that good at the previous fence, but better at that one. In front of Porter Clock, Call of the Loon on the bandwagon. And then Mr. Woody and Tomo roughly, who was a bit slow at that third fence as well, and got a couple of reminders after it, is last of all. But a bit closer to the back of the main body of runners than was the case after the second fence. Regaby and Charlie Todd leading from Master Sunrise and Jonathan Burke. And this horse running in this race for the third time. He was second in 2019 and fourth last year. Now a 13-year-old in second position. Judge Earl is in third under Sean Bowen. Here is the fourth fence. And all landing okay over that. On time sits in fourth position under Connor Ring as they come to the water jump, taken twice in this race. Call of the Loon and Porter Clock share fifth position, getting over this. And on time, a little bit untidy over the water jump. The back three, Mr. Woody on the bandwagon and Tomo roughly. Heading to another plain fence. This is number 6 of the 20. And Regaby organised going into that and jumped it in the lead to Master Sunrise in second position. And Judge Earl, who's already won races at Fosslas and Utoxeter this season, is sitting in third position, just in front of On Time. She's ahead of Porter Clock and Fergus Gillard, Jack Tudor and Call of the Loon next, ahead of On the Bandwagon towards the back of the field, with Mr. Woody and Tomo roughly getting over that seventh fence, and they now move on towards the second one on this part of the course before they complete their first circuit. Regaby is leading Master Sunrise, and Regaby was nice and quick over that, and most of the others following kind, but Regaby has opened up by about 4 coming to the end of circuit number 1. 4 or 5 clear of Master Sunrise in second position, who's a couple of lengths in front of Judge Earl and On Time. The same again to Call of the Loon, Porter Clock, followed by On the Bandwagon, Mr. Woody in the red cap towards the back and ahead of Tomo roughly. As it is Regaby coming towards this next obstacle and getting over that in the lead, all taking that one perfectly well, with Master Sunrise, mainly yellow jacket on the outside of Judge Earl, who's happy lobbing away in third position ahead of On Time, getting over the ditch. And Tomo roughly took that miles better than he did the first time round, but he is still the back marker, as it is Regaby to Master Sunrise in second, Judge Earl in third, and then last month's Newton Abbott winner On Time. She's come here since and finished third, ahead of Porter Clock and Call of the Loon. And then On the Bandwagon, Mr. Woody, who won his previous attempt in a chase, and that was at Fosslas earlier in the summer, is 1 from last, and Tomo roughly continues in rear, running for the Oak Tree Racing Club and trainer Sheila Lewis. So turning into the straight once again, they've taken 11 of the 20, still over a circuit to go in the National Racehorse Week, 10th to the 18th of September handicap chase. And the lead is still with Regaby, Charlie Todd, but Master Sunrise a little bit closer again. This near side will be the last in another circuit, and Master Sunrise rose just fractionally before the leader Regaby, the long-time leader. Regaby just striding on towards the water jump, taken for the last time today. Regaby, Master Sunrise, Judge Earl On Time, still the first 4. Getting over that, ahead of Porter Clock and Call of the Loon. On the Bandwagon, pushed along, running away from that for a few strides, was Mr. Woody. And Tomo roughly still needs to pass them all to win. Plain fence at the end of the home straight. And it is still Regaby to Master Sunrise. Reminders from Mr. Woody back in the field. On Time has just poked ahead into third, narrowly ahead of Judge Earl in fourth, and then Call of the Loon, first run for him today for Christian Williams, in fifth place. as they come to fence number 15 of the 20. Then it's On the Bandwagon and Porter Clock. In between these two obstacles then, Tomo Roughly is no longer in last position. Mr. Woody is in that spot now. On the Bandwagon also towards the back, Regaby, Master Sunrise, On Time, Judge Earl. The first four. Call of the Loon is then in 5th place. They've completed 2 circuits now. They've got 4 fences left to jump. After Call of the Loon, there's 3 lengths to Porter Clock, then Tomo Roughly driven, several lengths to On the Bandwagon, who's beaten a retreat, and Mr. Woody is also out of contention. So Master Sunrise driven on the outside of Regaby. On Time is in the thick of the action now, coming to this first plain fence in the back that she jumped at a bit slower than Regaby. Master Sunrise ridden along. Judge Earl still in 4th, then Call of the Loon. Here is the ditch for the final time. Regaby with the advantage. On Time out-jumped Master Sunrise at that. These are the first 3, closing up a little bit. Call of the Loon. Judge Earl, as Master Sunrise has run his race now, has dropped to 5th position. He is still in touch, however, well clear of Porter Clock. So these 5 got it between them. Regaby to Call of the Loon, who's outrunning his odds here. Call of the Loon under Jack Tudor. On Time is struggling with Judge Earl in 3rd position at the 1 pace, then Master Sunrise. So Regaby's got a serious threat now, and it's Call of the Loon in 2nd, but Jack Tudor just has to push him for the first time. Can Regaby beat away his challenge? They now run down towards the 20th and final fence. On the right is Regaby, on the left is Call of the Loon, who's starting to gallop on strongly and has taken the lead, heading to the final fence. Judge Earl is back in 3rd, Call of the Loon in front, gets over it safely, has opened up by 4 lengths to Regaby, several more to Judge Earl. On Time fell at the last, coming up to the line. Call of the Loon at quite a big price here is going to take this staying handicap chase under Jack Tudor. The long-time leader Regaby 2nd, Judge Earl 3rd, Master Sunrise will finish 4th ahead of Tomo Roughly. On Time she looks okay, she's just crossing the line now, loose, and well, one horse just crossed the line loose wearing headgear. There's one horse still down at the final obstacle.
Yeah, let's hope that horse is okay. Call of the Loon has won. Probably a big price here, to the outside of the lot just about. We'll bring you the SBs. There we go, 22 to 1 for Jack Tudor and Christian Williams. So that was our latest from Stratford, the 350, 3.5 mile handicap chase. There's the winner coming back in. We're going to get some reaction now to the Darley Yorkshire Oaks, which, let me remind you, was won by Alpinista. Here's Lydia.
Yes, and Sir Mark Prescott and Kirsten Rousing just receiving many congratulations. People very eager to talk to them after that success in the Group 1 Yorkshire Oaks. And Luke Morris as well posing for photographs. And hopefully in a few moments' time we'll be able to hear from Sir Mark Prescott.
Including a jockey change.
Such a significant success, this, and she's surely worth a statue. We'll have to find out whether that is what she'll have. But everybody wanting to congratulate Samar, because there can be no more popular winner of this race than him.
155 on the 3rd horse.
And it'll be lovely to hear his thoughts. We heard beforehand, and now we're going to be able to hear them afterwards. So Mark, you're live on Racing TV. Many congratulations. It was great to talk to you beforehand. How do you reflect on what you've just seen?
I'm lucky to have such a good horse, and she's straightforward, so she's been training made easy, really. Got ability and straightforward. You know, how lucky can any trainer be? You know.
And she's in her prime, isn't she, right now?
I would have thought so. I think she's last 2 races have been her best races. So she's slowly kept improving, and that's because of her mind, I think. You know.
And it's a Kirsten system. And she shows that about soon. She shows that at home. What we see at the race
goes well. She won first time up at Epsom as a 2-year-old. I mean, she went well. But she's got better.
And as you were watching the race, what were you thinking? Did it go as to plan in your mind's eye?
We discussed it in the morning, and I thought we'd probably have to make it and just keep going. But Luke decided those two were going quick enough, and then they pulled it up. And I think I was standing next to you, and if I didn't say it, I was thinking, well, you want to be going quite soon. And as I said it, he went. So I was relieved and pleased. Yeah.
Yes, and in the closing stages, what were you eyeing Tuesday?
Yes, I was, and the person next to me said, "Well done." about a fellow out. There is nothing more annoying.
I got properly told off, didn't I?
And, anyway, and I never would have spoken again, and she hung on. So it was a great day.
It's absolutely superb. You were saying it was obviously very important to Kirsten to win a Group 1 in Britain.
Yeah. I think she's got a full house for filly now, but Miss Rousing, I think I was veering towards going for the Bear May, but Miss Rousing quite rightly said, well, she needs to win a Group 1 in England. When I saw how hot it was, I thought we'd set a task, but I was delighted. Yeah.
And now all fair for the Ark. I mean,
if she's all right, that's where she'll go. I don't imagine we'll run her before. No. And then she's in the Japan Cup invited us, which is firm ground. So I suppose if something awful happened, you would have a farewell for her before going to. So I don't think I'm going to have this next year. I think so. We might get one more.
I think that might well be it. What? You've won so many great races. You've had some superb horses through your hands. What does this mare mean to you?
Well, she's 5 Group 1s in a row is a great achievement. Whoever the horse, whoever the breeder, and so I'm taking enormous pride from it, and having trained 3 generations of the family, it does make it 3 times as enjoyable, I can assure you.
And surely she's worth a statue now, isn't she?
Yes, I think that's under control.
Oh, good. It's already sorted.
Yeah, Mr. Blacker came with a measuring tape. I was pleased to see the other day, so I think we'll squeeze her in.
Well, there is no more popular winner of this race than you. I think you saw that from the crowd. You must have been delighted with the reception you got.
Marvellous.
Well, many congratulations to Mark, and I'm hoping that Tom will be able to speak to Kirsten shortly and hear perspective as well.
That'll be important. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Yeah, Lydia, thank you very much. Enjoyed listening to that. It was clearly quite emotional to Mark Prescott, and rightly so off the back of that success. Kirsten Rousing is just here. You're live on Racing TV. Apologies to interrupt, everyone. We just heard Sir Mark Prescott paying tribute to you and the success that both of you have had over 3 decades. What's behind that longevity, Kirsten?
Well, what can I say other than what a fantastic trainer Sir Mark is. He's the absolutely consummate horseman. He is obviously more experienced than anyone I can think of. I think I'm right in saying that he is the trainer who has held his license the longest in this country at this stage. And, of course, no detail escapes him. He has trained this filly, this mare, I should say, herself, Alpinista, her dam Alwilda and her granddam Albanova. So he knows the family very well, as do I.
And he said that to Lydia then, that made it 3 times almost more special because he knows the family so well, the dam and the granddam.
Yes, and we enjoy working. The continuity of the work is, I think, important to both of us, really.
Just take me behind the plan to go abroad and to sort of stay away from the UK for 3 or 4 races and now to come back for this.
Well, there was no particular plan it was not intentional to stay away from the UK. I mean, the long-term plan through the winter was to run first time out in the Coronation Cup this year. But we didn't quite get there. She hadn't quite fully coated at the time. So Sir Mark felt that she needed a couple more weeks, which meant that we had to forego Epsom and go to St. Cloud 3 weeks later. That's how it happened.
And just as an owner-breeder, how much more special is it to have both those titles when you get a filly as good as this?
Well, it's a tremendous satisfaction and enormous gratitude when many years of work and patience that it all falls into place after many years. But there's a tremendous amount of work and great teamwork from my home team at Landweights and St Simon Studs in Newmarket, and indeed also Staffordstown in County Meath, where my wean foals go and stay till they're yearly. So Alpinista and her dam and her granddam spent a formative year grazing on the green sword of County Meath.
Fabulous, and she's clearly benefited from that. I appreciate you staying around so long after the race to chat. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks.
One day.
And now another race for fillies and mares, and often one that's incredibly informative. The Goldsmith Stakes, run in honour of Sir Henry Cecil. Jane Mangan and Martin Dixon alongside me, still reflecting in that performance of Alpinista in the Derby Yorkshire Oaks. We move on, however, Jane, where do we start when we're looking at this year's Goldsmith Stakes?
We're probably going to start with the ones that are less exposed. The 3-year-olds Mimic You and Golden Lyra. They're the two we've only seen 3 and 4 times apiece. I'm looking at a screen where I see Tom Marquand and Golden Lyra going down nice and relaxed. But Mimic You could still be anything.
Yeah, she's the filly that I like. She's the filly that I like most on the whole card today, to be honest with you, in terms of a bet. She's a full sister to Journey, and if you remember back to a few years ago, Journey ended up finishing second in the fillies and mares on Champions Day at the end of her 3-year-old season, but it took her until her 5th career start to get off the mark, and then she continued a rapid progress through the second half of her 3-year-old season, and we're seeing similar with Mimic You. It was 3 goes that she took to get off the mark. She actually beat today's opponent Time Lock in a tight finish at Haydock. The two closely matched on that effort. But Mimic You then improved again significantly to win emphatically in a handicap last time out. I think, given the progress that she's making and the pedigree that she comes from, the background that she's got with her pedigree, there could be an awful lot more to come from her. And a mile and a half here at York could be perfect as well. She looks a real strong stay.
Okay, so you've had a look at the betting. Horse in shot there, Yellow Silks with the star, the See the Stars colours. That's Golden Lyra. Golden Lyra is trained by William Haggis and written by Tom Markwood. What impression she left on you so far in her career, Jane?
So far, so good, and we actually have a tie-in with Kirsten Rousing, because the dam of Golden Lyra, See the Sun, is a full sister to See the Moon, who she stands very successfully at her Landweight stud base. This filly by Local Vegas, she won on debut at Newmarket last year. She was second to Stay Alert in a listed race at Newbury, and she backed up at Kempton, winning easily by 5 lengths. The My Oberon, the My Aspera, the My Prospero colours, they're operating at a serious strike rate this year, and this filly, I think, we don't know how good she is yet.
Mimic You is 4-1. Haskoi is 5-1. Ryan Moore, I'm guessing, would have had the pick of Haskoi or Time Lock, the 2 Juddmonte horses here. Rafe Beckett trains Haskoi, daughter of Golden Horn. I was very, very impressed with her at Wolverhampton, a track which probably wasn't her bag.
Yeah, you couldn't not be, really, in fairness. It's difficult to assess what she's going to be capable of, but she made a deep impression. She's a good looker as well, daughter of Golden Horn. She cruised around the outside of horses, kept on storming on through the final furlong. She beat horses that had set a decent standard going into that race, Johari, and then there was a previous winner back in 3rd place. So it wasn't a poor race she won at Wolverhampton, and she did win it in style. So she kind of comes into the could be anything category. Will she deal with the big step up in class and the bigger occasion here at York? We'll wait and see, but she certainly did look a good prospect first time up.
And Time Lock, pink cat from the family of Time Test, Father Time, Passage of Time, multiple good but sometimes not totally straightforward horses. She's by Frank.
Needless to say, that's all we need to say. Yeah. She was well held by Mimic You last time. She's obviously a very interesting filly, but I believe Tom and Fran are out on track and they might tell us a little bit more.
They might do.
Well, Fran will hopefully, because while Lydia and I were conducting those lengthy interviews after the Derby Yorkshire Oaks, Fran was diligently looking at the horses in the paddock. What caught your eye, Fran?
Yeah, Mimic You was very impressed by her, Tom. She looked a work in progress on the last couple of starts. Loved the way she finished off last time up to a mile and a half. She's definitely come forward. Physically, she looks like a type that keeps improving. The favourite, Golden Lyra, typical of his fire. Luke de Vega, big individual, plenty of scope. Very good last time in Kempton, stretched well last furlong and tried to win there, albeit.
Yeah, the 2-13 or something. Don't look made for the mile and a half. Is there any horse in there that you thought would appreciate stepping up in trip? Voodoo Queen for me, daughter of Frank.
Yeah, definitely. She stayed on well at 10 furlongs at Newmarket last time. I have to give Supergirl a mention. Jessica Harrington's runner, no luck with Magical Lagoon, who had to make her own running in the last race, of course, but very, very unlucky in the Shergar Cup. She's far better going left-handed than she is right-handed. She's a bit of an outside chance at 10-1.
It's feeling like it could rain at any moment, but so far we've been all right. Long may it stay that way. Nick, back to you.
Tom, Fran, thank you very much. Let's spin through one or two of the others here who could move forward. Voodoo Queen, certainly. She's a daughter of Craig Bennett's Lowther winner, Cursory Glance.
Yeah, she's by Frankel as well, Voodoo Queen, so another for for that stallion. She's improving pretty quickly. She's won both of her starts this year. She's stepping up in trip to 1.5 miles as well as stepping up in class today, so she's got to prove that.
That shouldn't be an issue. Luna Dora, worth a mention as well. Supergirl, Fran mentioned her. She's progressed beyond recognition. She's done a lot more than I thought she would do at the very start of her career when she won at Navan, Leopardstown and Navan again. Her run at Ascot last time on Sugar Cup Day is good, but she'll need more here. I mentioned Luna Dora. She was in the sales last December. She was withdrawn, but she was still in the breeding stock sales before she has stepped forward this year. She did hang right last time at Newbury behind Staler. She's up to 12 furlongs today, but she wouldn't want to be hitting the front too soon. She doesn't like to be idle.
All right, most of the way through the loading process. There is Voodoo Queen, another daughter of Frankel. David Egan takes the ride, and we're down to the last three. And the final two will be the Juddmonte owned fillies, Haskoy and Time Lock. For the British EBF and Sir Henry Cecil Galtres Stakes, race with a fine heritage, here's Mike Cattermole.
Time Lock will be the last one in here. The two Juddmonte fillies went in last. Time Lock in the pink cap, Haskoy in the green cap. They're set. And they're off and racing. And a nice break as well, over 1.5 miles here for this listed British EBF Sir Henry Cecil Galtres Stakes. Keeping wide Voodoo Queen from her draw of 12, and but well up there though. She's almost alongside the early pace setter, Luna Dorada, who's showing good early toe there, the red cap to go along, with Voodoo Queen alongside her as they settle down there through the first quarter mile. In third on the inside there is Time Lock, just ahead then of Golden Lyra. Under a straight Mimikyu, Frankie on the outside there of Supergirl, taking a bit of a hole, Mimikyu. Top Anticipation is next to the rail, just running around a bit behind them. Well, Pearl Beach has settled pretty nicely. Judith is restrained. Behind her is Star Fortress, who's taking a little bit of a grip. And the green cap of Haskoy in the hands of Ryan Moore is about 8 lengths behind the pace setters as they go down towards the final 7 furlongs of the contest. Luna Dorada then leading from Voodoo Queen. David Egan on the outside in second place. Time Lock and Will Buick racing close up behind them, with on the outside then Mimikyu and Frankie Dettori. Between them is Golden Lyra, Tom Marcon, the white-faced chestnut filly there. Tom in the yellow colours. Top Anticipation next, Supergirl. And then just towards the inside is Pearl Beach, Danny Muscat, Judith alongside. And last, as they begin to turn down towards the home straight, the last two are Haskoy, together there with Star Fortress. So they're coming up towards the final half mile of this contest here, this British EBF Sir Henry Cecil Galtres Stakes. These beautifully bred fillies with loads of potential between them, coming down the home straight here at York and pressing on Luna Dorada on the inside. Voodoo Queen trying to go with her. Pushed along now is Time Lock, going pretty nicely. Between them, Golden Lyra is under pressure. Up the inside, Top Anticipation. Down the outside, Mimikyu and Supergirl and Judith on the outside. Oh, there's a load of chances here in the Galtres. They're racing inside the final quarter mile. Time Lock maybe just in front. Supergirl chasing her down hard. On the near side, Judith is also staying on pretty strongly as well. Up inside the final furlong they come. Over on the far side, a late charge from Haskoy, but it's Time Lock the leader. Haskoy finishing off with a real aplomb on the inside. Up towards the line they go, and Haskoy's got there. What a ride from Ryan Moore. Time Lock in second, Judith third, and Supergirl in fourth.
Oh, she's a stout stayer, but she's a pretty smart one, and under a fine ride from Ryan Moore. Haskoy has done the better of the Juddmonte Fair and done best of all. It's a 1-2 for the green, white and pink green cap Haskoy. Daughter of Golden Horn has beaten into second place Time Lock, the daughter of Frankel. The pair of them clear. In third place, Judith. That's a career best from her. Fourth is Supergirl, and fifth was Voodoo Queen, who really travelled. Fillion Shot didn't really travel. She was one of the first to be urged and nudged along, but as at Wolverhampton on her debut, Jane, she picked up the bridle and she ground away powerfully to get up right where it mattered, under a super ride.
Super ride, but one of the first to come under pressure. She looked a little bit towards that rail and she did much of her own running. She's the least experienced of these fillies, and she has had to do it all on her own. In the centre of the track, the first colours of Juddmonte, Time Lock, with the benefit of a William Buick drive, but Ryan Moore on only her second start is filly by Golden Horn, out of Nathaniel there. She's got the stamina, she's got the attitude, and Martin, she's got the ability.
Yeah, she's got a big, powerful tried, hasn't she? And still very green through the race. And I think it was a bit of a shock to the system, but it wasn't a shock to these girls that were cheering her on.
It was not. They were right behind us, a whole posse of Rafe Beckett's team from Kimpton Down. And fully 3.5 furlongs out, they were yelling, "Go on, Ryan." I'm thinking 3.5 down. Girls, you're being a bit optimistic there. 2 down, you're thinking you've got no chance. You want to quiet them down now. You're looking at the right horse. A furlong out, oh, she might stay on into 4.
I must admit, as you say, it's making me laugh because I did double check my colours to check that it wasn't time lock down the middle in the pink cap, but they knew.
They knew she was going to roar home.
Yeah, exactly. But look, she's obviously a very strong stayer and got huge ability to do this second time out. She's going to tune up, sharpen up for this. Look, she jumps the pack a little bit there early on, and Ryan's had to sort of be patient with her because she doesn't want to get too involved in the race, and I think her inexperience is showing through the first half mile or so. But she's obviously got a big engine and a load of stamina, and you're thinking when a filly like this wins this second time out, I'm automatically thinking Champions Day fillies and mares Group 1, I think. Given the stamina she's shown.
The last time a 3-year-old filly's emerged from nowhere from this stable in the middle of the season, she went on and won the St Ledger. Simple verse. I'm not saying this filly can do that, but she's very good, and she'd stay every yard of a 1 3/4 and the rest.
2018 winner Lassie Dash, she was second in the St Ledger. The 2019 winner Search for a Song, a dual Irish St Ledger winner. She comes from cold last. Just in front of her was the pink colours of Normandy. So Judith was a fraction keen in the early part of this race, settling very well in the centre of the group was Supergirl, your eventual 4th. In contrast, Time Lock just in the box, he had a little bit in the hands of William Buick, doing a little bit of that. But look at Ryan Moore here. He's on the rail. He's already trying to coax this filly into contention. She's showing this. The greenness here is to ask her to go into the locked box, basically. Don't be claustrophobic. I'm asking you to go forward. When they come to the centre, Ryan doesn't want to go in amongst horses. It's going to be too much for her. She's not travelling well enough to thread the eye of those needles. So he comes to the far rail and he does most of that. But she does lug about a bit. She is a little bit unbalanced. It takes all of Ryan Moore's prowess to get her home.
It does. It was a huge run as well from Time Lock, wasn't it? Down the centre of the track. She's travelled really strongly. She's picked up well. They'll be a bit gutted really because, I mean, pleased on the one hand because she's run a huge race and it's easily a career best, but gutted to be nailed by one on the far side.
you